committee. What is going on, everybody? What is cracking? It's your boy MJ up in the building. Shout out to everybody in the comments, all my early birds. Before we get started, please, well, first off, shout out to all the supporters, shout out to all my subscribers, shout out to the people who continuously show me support, show up to the podcast. You know, you guys are really making me feel appreciated when I work to bring the real awesome people to this show, man. And it's not going to stop. The guests we have tonight, sick as fuck. What's going on with this? But yeah, man, shout out to all the supporters, first and foremost. If you're new to the channel, do me a solid, and everyone else who supports, because everyone else supports me, we're on the same mission, right? I'm trying to grow this motherfucker. So do me a favor, okay? Doesn't take much effort. See that subscribe button right there, a little red motherfucker? Hit that button, man, and hit the notification bell. That way you guys know what's going on anytime I have a live session, because news on the streets is that there's a back-to-back Trap Talk with MJ session that's going on this week. We're going to have our first international guest Saturday. Stoked. So get ready for that. Shout out to the sponsor, Cold Blooded Cafe. Make sure if you guys are in a position you need some fucking frozen thawed rodents, your snakes are needing to eat, hard to get to any in your area, you need to go to the www.coldbloodedcafe.com. $30 flat rate shipping. Dude, the way they package this shit, it's so professional, it's ridiculous, and it's super primo, it's bomb, it's like the freshest that you can get, and it goes straight to your doorstep. So you really can't fucking you can't beat that, man. So shout out to Cold Blooded Cafe, the sponsor. Shout out to the new sponsor. So the channel picked up a new sponsor, man. I'm super stoked about this. So we were able to pick up Sim Containers as a sponsor, man. Shout out to John over at Sim Containers for sponsoring the Trap Talk sessions and Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. I'm going to be getting an extra large bin that's coming soon, so I guys can show you that. But I have over 10 chondro eggs cooking in one of these right now. They are looking fucking prime time. They're on day 36. We're getting there. And then somebody hit me up asking, can you really put those in, like, can you really put ball python eggs in those? I said, fuck yeah, you can, man. Dude, I'm telling you, eggs over water, that's it. And in a legit container like this, you can't, the humidity is going to be perfect on what you need it at. So, and I'm being serious. So shout out to John over at Sim Containers. Make sure you guys check him out. And then, you guys, like I said, man, I'm getting some stickers and shit, guys. You guys are awesome. So shout out to my homie over at D's Balls Exotics. D's Nuts. Sick ass sticker, bro. You gave me 3 and my dad swooped on 2 of them. He liked it that much. So I was like, all right, sweet pops, fucking jack my stickers that I get. So shout out to the homie over at D's Balls Exotics. I'm going to put him down there in the description below. And then my homie over at O'Malley's Morph, dude, this fool hooked it up fat. First off, man, I fuck with these stickers. They're super clean. Like the way the finishing is on this sticker, it's super sick. And I'm an old tagger from back in the day. So all the trouble I used to get in beginning days was from tagging. And this is my kind of writing right here. So this is super sick. Shout out to the homie Matt, O'Malley's Morph. I'll put his information description below as well. But good ass fucking dude. That's my big bro right there. He takes care of me like a big bro. He also gave me the sick ass Easy sticker, and he gave my wife a Wu-Tang sticker that his wife made me. So wives taking care of wives, man. What the fuck? It's good collaboration right there, man. Appreciate you, dude. There's my dog barking. And then last but not least, man, my boy fucking Riley, man. Riley Jemison over at Riley's Reptiles. Let me get you, hold on, a full shirt view right quick. Dude, this shirt is so sick, bro. Like the head, the whole tongue. Like you did a good job on this. And this is a pretty classic shirt. I've seen this shirt when I first came into the hobby. He's had this out for a while. So getting one of these shirts is like just as big as getting like a fucking Aussie Boyd shirt or something. I'm telling you right now. He gave me some sick ass stickers. And, Riley's just fucking one of those guys to be friends with, man. If you don't follow Riley already, you need to go follow my boy Riley. He's fucking straight one of the realest guys in this hobby, and you got to go check him out. So shout out to my boy Riley. And then last but not least, we're gonna do the Trap Salute of the Week. I didn't do the Trap Salute of the Week last week because I fucking just blew by and shit like that. But I just want to give a quick shout out to somebody who's been in this hobby. He's no newbie or anything like that. He's been well established in this hobby. He's been killing it. He's definitely somebody like, as far as I think he's an unsung hero, and he's definitely starting to get more notice and more notice. Basically, he sold a snake to Aussie boys. That show how legit this motherfucker is. So shout out to homie Nick, dude, over at Renowned Reptiles, bro. That's the real big dog, the real true big dog over there. And I really give this dude props because he's grinding day to day, family man, all that good stuff. He's killing it, man. So make sure you follow my boy Nick. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna send you something sick. But you are a hell of an inspiration to not only me but a lot of people out there in the hobby. I mean, my goal is to sell Aussie boys anything. That'd be sick. And he's there. He's even giving snakes to Miguel and all this other shit. So this dude's really, he's like another level of your favorite breeder's favorite breeder. So that's my boy Nick. Check him out. Renowned Reptiles, and that's that. All right, intro done. Cheers to you guys. My girl said, "Look, babe, I'll make your drinks all night if you fucking drink with this little alpaca on your it looks like a llama, but I'm gonna say alpaca on your drink." And so I'm gonna keep it like this just because I don't want to have to worry about getting a drink. So cheers to everyone in the comments. Cheers to everybody who's live. I'm looking forward to the guests we're bringing on tonight. I had the honor of really getting to really kind of understanding what his position is with Nerd. Everyone knows who Nerd is, right? Fuck, man, legendary Nerd, right? But either way, there's a lot of things about this gentleman why I'm like, you know what, this is somebody I feel like I relate to on so many levels, not only with reptiles, but with the but also with the music. Okay. But first and foremost, I'm happy to introduce my man right here, Jeremy from New England Reptiles. Jeremy, the management team. What's going on,
bro? What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Ooh. Oh man, I'm doing lovely. How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I never got anything to eat before.
There's a shitty lag.
Is there a lag? Do we have a lag?
Did it?
I did not. Nope. I got stuck on a phone call for a while, so I've just been in the office. But it's all good.
That's what it is. Do me a favor. Do me a favor real quick. We're just going to be on this lag for a while. Exit out. Go back to the email and enter in.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, it'll fix it right away. I'm gonna say hi to people in the comments. People are blowing up in the comments. So KB Reptiles, what's up, KB? Dale Richards, what up, Dale Richards? We have a little bit of a lag right off the bat because fucking if you get a phone call while you're on the Trap Talk session through StreamYard, it fucking lags you. So come to realize that. Black Sun Reptiles, what up? My homie Wiz Constrictors in the building. I'm gonna drink to my homie Wiz. That's my boy right there, Wiz. Oh, he's back. All right, here we go. Are you there?
All right, I'm here. Is that better?
That's so weird. Why is there a lag? Talk again.
Yo.
Okay, there you go. You're good.
All right,
You're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Jeremy! Here is Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen, bro. This is my boy Jeremy over at New England.
What up?
Reptiles management team. He's fucking here to hang out with us tonight.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna chop some stuff up, man. There's, like I said, I was just before I brought you in, I was talking about how I feel like we have so many things in common. So a lot of things I want to touch on about that. But first and foremost, how are you, Jeremy? How are you sleeping? Everything good?
I don't sleep, dude.
Oh. I hear that a lot.
Everything's good though, man. But between Nerd, my own collection, and my music shit, dude, I don't sleep. If I get 4.5 hours a night, I'm crushing it. So
all right, so Jeremy just mentioned the first thing that made me want to connect with the music. So period, man. I mean, I was probably one of the only, I wouldn't say only, there's a couple people I met when I was producing music who were they like getting it going early in the morning, and then I have motherfuckers who don't stop until the afternoon. They won't sleep. You know what I mean? What kind of how do your creations work best? Are you a nighttime guy or are you fucking in the day, like morning time?
I'm definitely not a morning person in general. So I usually I'll get into my studio around 11 or 12, and then I'll try to just crush whatever I have to do in 8 or 10 hours. So I try not to do all night sessions unless I have to, and I've done them before. When I was recording for this artist, Michelle Brooks Thompson, who's a finalist on The Voice way back in season 3, I did all the horns for her records, and her first EP, we did 2 all-night sessions back to back, and we got in at 7 or 8 p.m. and went until 6:30 in the morning, and just crushed that out, and whew, man. Never again.
It's kind of something, because when you feel it at that moment, it's like you might not be able to pick back up where you left off if you even go to sleep. Like if you, it's like almost a mental thing. It's like, dude, my mind's not there anymore. You know what I mean? Or
Yes.
that's what I used to hate about making music, because I would be so excited, I'd be onto something, and I'd be forced to take a break. I'd hop on, and I'd be like, "What the? This doesn't sound like what I thought it sounded." And it's just gone. And then like literally, I'm there just fucking with it for like even sometimes hours, and then I get it, and then it comes back, and I'm like, "Oh man, dude, this is nuts." But it's such a rewarding feeling, because like it's dude, I give it to any magician, man. It's almost like it's an art, right? It's almost like being able to paint a fucking painting. It's I don't know, it's something that it's talented, man. It's something that takes talent to be able to do any kind of instrument, I think. So that's pretty sick. So is that something you started as a kid?
Yeah, man, I started playing trumpet when I was in 6th grade. Before that, I sang in like the elementary school choir or whatever. And I followed it all the way through into high school, and that's when I really started to take it seriously. And I ended up going to Berklee College of Music in Boston, Mass. So I went there for like a year and change, and then was like, I'm not going to spend $50K a year for a performance degree. So I dipped, moved back in with my folks because I was broke as hell. And then started a band, and we started gigging like immediately. The nice thing about moving back in to my hometown is people already knew who I was. So when I said I put together a band, it was just a matter of promoting it right, and then that was pretty much it. So and we played in all over New England and New York and Pennsylvania, and kind of all over the Upper East Coast, which has been great. And then along the way, I've been able to play with some amazing musicians. I've been out to LA a few times, playing with some stupidly talented musicians, and I'm grateful for all those opportunities. And fast forward even to now, I can't gig, because of COVID bullshit.
It's fucking everybody.
It's horrible, but I am grateful that I have a home recording studio, because I can still track horns. I also sing, so I'll track vocals for different artists too. And I've been really lucky. I've been able to work with some amazing child prodigies, which has been an amazing experience, and also really, really depressing watching like a 10-year-old be able to play circles around you. Like, you're like, yeah, I went to college for this, and you aren't even in high school. Like, shit.
It's like, those are like the Tiger Woods of shit, man. It's like they're like freak of natures. They're just like, you put something in their hand and it just becomes second nature to them. So dude, I honestly, that's like, dude, I would be honored to be next to a kid like that, because it's like a prodigy. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck, like. But then again, it's like, it's only, just because he's good doesn't mean he could teach, because he's like.
That is true. But I'll say, so when I was in LA a couple of years ago, I met the first kid I just finished recording with. Is on Instagram, he's known as Aaron, the bassist. And I think now he just turned 10, or he's about to turn 10. Anyway, he comes in with his bigger brother and some family. And they came into a rehearsal that I was doing with another artist. And I'm thinking, he's like a fan of the artist, and they like whatever. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together on who the kid was. And then all of a sudden he starts to plug in. And I'm like, what is about to happen right now? And he just starts crushing this music that we were playing. And so I was already hooked at that moment. But what really blew me away was there was a point where we got into a part in the song where he had learned it a little bit differently than what it actually was. And the organist was like, okay, man, so in this section, you're going to go this note to the third and blah, blah, blah. And starts talking like actual music theory stuff to this kid. And he's like, oh, yeah, okay, I got you. And I was like, what? Like,
son of a bitch.
Yeah, I was like, what? You've got to be kidding me. And it blew me away. I was already hooked, and then and I was like, so I just should not do this anymore.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because literally that's the biggest reason why I stopped racing motocross. Because I have more of a structured, like I played baseball and football, and I was really good at those sports too. But like I had, if you look at people who ride motocross, they're either super tiny and small or they're super lanky and skinny. You know what I mean? They're not too heavy set. You won't find a heavy set fucking bike rider. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, as I was getting better and better, I was getting more smoked and my ass kicked by these fucking tiny kids. Like, so I think the last race class I was in 125 cc. I was like 15 years old and I had been racing for like almost 10 years. I've been racing for a while, but like I said, as the older I got, like this kind of like, I got faster, but I didn't get as fast as I should have gotten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So either way, man, I just remember one race, dude. There was like 20 bikes, dude. And I look down and like more than half the bikes are kids on cinder blocks because their feet can't touch the ground. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And what happens? I get smoked by every single one of them, dude. And I was like, dude, I was like, I'm good. And keep in mind, I crashed a lot too. I'm fucking kicking my own ass too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm very competitive. I like to win. And it was this one thing where it was like, I don't know. I was like, this was fun. It was fun as a kid, but as like, there's these fucking prodigies coming out of nowhere, like 5 years younger than me, like 10, 11 years old on a 125 on a huge ass bike. But once the gate dropped, they're gone. And they're fucking just flying over jumps. And you're just like, what? And like, it took me years to get that kind of like nuts. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I know what you mean by that. So fucking, just how it goes, you know what I mean? I continue to ride, and I just kind of like it kind of phased out because I got tired of getting hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that.
So, but it seems like you always have an instrument in your life. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's funny because I never saw myself being a musician full time. So before I took the job at Nerd, I was doing music full time. I was teaching full time.
Cool,
I was gigging and touring and stuff. And I was doing that for 5 or 6 years. And then I was like, I need a break. Being in the classroom is hard, dude. Like, kudos to all the teachers all over the place, man, because that's a hard job.
It really is.
And I was looking for a new job, and I just happened to come up to visit Nerd to see Kev, and we just started talking, and he was like, hey, if you need some work. And I was like, all right.
So obviously there was some sort. You had to know somebody for that to happen, right? So let's rewind it back a little bit, right? Yeah. So when did you start working with animals? At what age were you just like keeping them, and it all began? Like I always ask my guests that, so let's do that.
Yeah. So I've been keeping for basically my entire life. When I was like 7-ish years old, I threw a temper tantrum in a pet store over a toad. Because I wanted that toad. I wanted that fucking toad. It was a little firebelly toad, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. Green top with the black dots, and then the fire orange belly. I was like, that's the coolest fucking thing in the planet. Like, so I did not want to leave without that toad. So my mom caved, let me get it, and from a really young age, man. After that, like I was just like, as soon as I could, finding out as much info I could about anything reptile related. And that's kind of been like the story of my life. So I started with that firebelly toad, and then I got some green anoles, and I didn't realize I had gotten a pair because, I was a kid. And they bred and laid eggs in the cage, and they hatched in the cage. And I was like, that's cool. And then like within 5 minutes, the adults had eaten the tiny baby. And I was like, this isn't cool anymore. And then I was keeping leopard geckos and bearded dragons. And I was breeding those. And right around my 10th birthday or so, and maybe a little bit later than that, my mom finally let me get a snake. She was very adamant about not letting me have a snake. She didn't want snakes in the house.
Right.
She was fine with everything else. But she finally let me get a snake, and she realized very quickly that was a bad choice on her part because the floodgates opened, And one snake became 2, became 5, became 10, and soon like the entire back wall of my bedroom was just snake cages. And got to a point where like I was breeding leopard geckos and bearded dragons, and I was like selling them to my friends and stuff, and local stuff. And I got to a point where I was like, I wonder if I could do this with snakes. So I bred corn snakes and ball pythons, and was able to like wholesale them to the local pet stores and stuff.
Nice.
And I just became hooked. Like it was so hard to not do something animal related. So fast forward a little bit more. I met Kevin probably 12 years ago. I was at a local herp group meeting down in Connecticut, and one of my buddies was like, you like ball pythons, right? And I was like, yeah, because that's when they were like the greatest thing in the world.
The greatest thing. What do you mean?
So he was like, you got to meet Kevin McCurley over at Nerd. And I was like, I don't know who that is, but okay. So I started researching. He's like, I'm going to set it up so you get a private tour or whatever. And I didn't really have any idea of who Kevin was or what Nerd was. So I started to research it, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. So he set it up. My mom and I come up here, and one of the staff members at the time, his name was Jason. He gave me the tour because Kevin was busy, and I met him very, very briefly. It was literally like, hello, and then like he was gone. And I didn't really think anything of it because, again, I still hadn't processed everything about who he was. But I mean, that experience, like if I wasn't already hooked by that point in my life, which I'm pretty sure I already was like a million times over, that like locked it in. I mean, I was staring at like the first tiger calico retics. I'm staring at like 3-4 gene ball pythons that at that time, nobody even knew a ball python could look like it did here. I was like, oh my God. This is everything,
You said 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So this is what, 2007?
Yeah, so 2007-ish, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And
wild.
I was already like breeding stuff and whatever. So this was the ultimate kid in a candy store, because I was like, you can make that? That's real? Like what? Yeah. And after the tour ends, whatever, and Jason was like, you got to come back up during the hatchling season, because that's when it gets really crazy and you can really see some cool shit. So a few months later, we come back up, and that was when I got to have a bit more of a conversation with Kevin. Nice. And I was like I was looking at Nerd just all the time, looking at what Nerd had, what Nerd was, everything. And I was hooked. So I would then periodically just come up and visit, and whenever I could, I was just asking Kevin questions whenever he would be around, and the memory that always sticks out the most, and I've said this many times before, was I was trying to learn more about hidden gene woma. I absolutely love the hidden gene woma gene in ball pythons. Everything I was seeing that Kevin had at the time was like hidden gene woma granite, hidden gene woma granite. And I knew that granite was its own separate gene, but it never seemed like the two were ever separate here. So I remember asking him, I was like, how do you tell that a hidden gene woma has granite? Because I don't see it compared to what every other granite combo looked like at the time. So he like grabs my arm, pulls me into a room, and pulls out this, hidden gene woma granite yellow belly thing. And he's like, that dot right there. And I was like, motherfucker, what?
Yeah.
Like, one little dot. And he was like, yup, that means it's granite. And I was like, I don't understand. So I was kind of like, I don't know, you gotta prove it. You gotta prove it to me. Show me more. And, for him, that was nothing. He was like, look at it here, and look at it here, and look at it here. And it's the dot, and the dot, and the dot. And I was like, all right, well, what's it look like without it? And he like pulls me to another rack, and he's like, look at it here, no dot. Look at it here, no dot. The pattern's cleaner, this and that. And I was like, this motherfucker sees everything. Like, I was like, damn. And when I started to look, I noticed that there was like less speckling in the eye stripe and stuff. And as soon as I pointed that out, he was like, yeah, now you're starting to notice. And I was like, okay, so attention to detail is everything. So Yeah, and I mean, it got to a point where like I was here once a month for years. I was coming up. If you like back in like 2014, 2015, whenever you would see random photo dumps of ball pythons on the Nerd Facebook page,
Yeah.
that was me. Kevin was like, "Here's the Facebook login to Nerd. Go take a bunch of pictures." And I was like, "Cool." He's like, "Go find what you think is cool. Here's the best way to get a picture of a ball python, and just go crazy and post pictures." And I was like, "This is awesome," you know. So yeah, I mean that was like, this was kind of like my haven, you know, to just learn and see everything. This was like my college for reptiles, you know. And in the midst of it, you know, I mean, I've met so many people that have been mentors to me along the way. You know, Brian Barczyk has been a friend of mine for the last 10, 11 years. You know,
how epic was that interview, dude, with all of us? How fun was that?
Oh, dude, I love any chance I can get to be in a space with all of them.
But that was I don't know what I mean. Like, that was my first time interacting with Kevin, and I don't know what it was, but something just felt like we got a special Kevin in that moment. Like,
you 100% did. So I remember talking to him the next day, and I was like, dude, I have been getting blown up because people are like, Kevin is a fucking monster.
Maniac.
You know, I was like, oh my God. And he's laughing, and he's like, well, I mean, it said unfiltered. So, you know, you got me a little unfiltered. And I was like,
good.
Oh.
You can't, that's all we want. Like, don't hold back. Like, you could, like, Kevin just seemed like he was like talking to somebody he's been like hanging out with throughout his whole life. Like, no hold bar. And that's all I want, man. Just speak how it is. And it was just fucking, you know, he was, and what's crazy is like, as funny and foolish as he was still spitting fucking crazy facts about shit. And it was like, what's like, and then he got into the nutrition side of things, and like, and how related it was to humans and animals, and like, I don't know, man, it was pretty nuts. And like, I don't know, I didn't even feel tired after that 4 hours. I feel like I could kept going for sure.
Yeah, it was, dude, that night was a night for the books for sure.
So how close do you work with Kevin? Is it every day?
Yeah, I'm usually with him every day, literally 7 days a week. So my official title here is the facility manager. So anything that is happening here, it has to either go through me, or I need to get wind of it before it can actually happen. And that includes dealing with Kevin's schedule.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know, unless it's like a very close friend of his that can just reach out to him directly via phone or something. But I didn't realize exactly how intense my working relationship was going to be with Kevin until we went to Tinley in October. So you know, it's funny because when I first got the job here, those people that I know that already knew Kevin and know that Kevin can be a stubborn, you know, hard-handed person. We're like, you know what you're getting into? And I'm like, I've known the dude for over a decade. I'm very much aware, you know. But being here for a few months before Tinley, I was like, okay, so I'm getting in the zone, you know, kind of really figuring out how the day-to-day works here, and I can, you know, kind of be on my own here. And then we go to Tinley, and it was the first real experience I had with kind of the realization of like, Kevin is a celebrity in the reptile industry. Because it literally was like the first day we got to Tinley, it was, oh my God, Kevin's here. And then the next day was like, everybody wants to talk to Kevin. Everybody wants to talk to Kevin. Everybody wants to talk to Kevin. And I'm like, nope, because you will not tire him out and make him angry.
Yeah, you're going to have to suffer from it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like,
you gotta spread them out, man.
Yeah, you know, so Sunday, so this is like Friday, Saturday, I'm like realizing all this and trying to work it. And then it literally just became, I was like the gatekeeper. You wanted to talk to Kevin. You wanted to get Kevin for an interview. You wanted to get anything out of Kevin. It came through me.
Hey, we only pulled off the interview because fucking this guy right here, he was literally fucking there with the fucking say, thou shalt not pass.
It's true, man, because like, and so here's another funny thing is like, Kevin hates planning certain things.
Yeah.
It's because it sits in his mind, and it's just this always revolving cyclical thing where it's like, oh, I can't forget about this, I can't forget about this. And I didn't want it to be that, I don't want anything like that to be a burden on his brain, because he literally is up at the crack of dawn working until way past the sun goes down. It's frightening. So I'm like, okay, if I can maintain this and then just go to him, and be like, this is happening, unless you say no, and here's all the details, that was it, so like that Sunday at Tinley, I was literally like, Kevin, at 11:30 we're going to be over here, at 12:15 you got to be over here, at 12:30 we're going to do an interview over here, at 1 o'clock you got to be over here, and then right now we're going to go run over to Ozzy's table and talk with Ozzy for a minute and blah blah blah. And I was literally like, I am your PR person, motherfucker, like, get ready.
Yeah. Yep, no questions, everyone. Fuck, keep it moving, dude. Wasn't he on a fucking hoverboard or something like that last October? Like he was just kind of just goofing his ass off while everyone's setting up.
Yeah. Is Cusco still in the chat? I saw Cusco pop up in the chat. This motherfucker Cusco came through on this unibwheel thing.
Oh shit!
And we're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Kevin skateboards and shit, so he's like, oh, I can figure this out. And he did not want us to record him at all. He was like, no, I don't want you guys to have blackmail of me busting my ass. And I was like, oh, it's happening, bud.
Kevin doesn't like busting his ass on camera. He doesn't like showing his faults, his failures.
Yeah. So I would be like, I have a bunch of videos of him like figuring it out. That I was just taking. I literally like hid behind a staff member behind the nerd table and like peeked my camera from behind their shoulder just so I could get the video. And as soon as he saw me doing that, he was like, this motherfucker's recording me, and like walked away.
That's fucking comical, dude. So Jeremy, now that we talked about you pretty much in control of, like, for instance, I know you're not in charge. You don't run New England Reptiles, right? Is that Rob, or who runs New England Reptiles? The
like sales stuff,
Instagram page.
So that's a combination of a couple of different people, actually. So it's okay. Myself, Rob, and Emily, who's our sales team, and then I think Donnie has access to it too. Donnie's our camera guy, social media guy. So a few people have our hands in it, but it also generally goes through me, or if there's ever like somebody that needs a sales direction, I'll let Rob or Emily know and be like, hey, we can just send us an email or something.
Speaking of which, what the fuck, bro?
He's in the chat. Is he in the chat?
Look at this man.
This motherfucker.
Look at this gross motherfucker here. Man, so I want to get into, your relationship with Rob. Now, you guys have a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. Reptiles, or
Reptile Talk. Yeah,
Reptile Talk, dude. Fucking one of the coolest duo rep podcasts out there right now.
I appreciate that, man.
You guys are bringing on some really cool guests. Never gets flat from what I've heard. I've heard a few of your shows, and they're interesting. I love it, man.
I appreciate that, man.
How'd that come about?
So the Reptile Talk podcast is actually something I did 6 or 7 years ago with Steve Tillis down in Florida. Mm-hmm. And Steve and I known each other for well over a decade through YouTube. And when we both ended up going to college and stuff, our schedules just didn't allow us to continue doing a podcast. So it just kind of went by the wayside. And then I wanted to bring it back now that I had a little bit more of a semblance of a schedule here. So I was like, I think we can make this work. So I reached out to Steve. And Steve's getting his PhD right now at the University of Florida. He's like, I just can't commit. He's like, I can come in once in a while. He's like, but I can't commit, to doing it. And I was like, that's fair, dude. And keep making me feel like an insignificant piece of shit. That's fine. And it basically, I was like sitting, and I'm just like, man, like I want to do this podcast, but I don't know where to take it. And I was like, Rob, I want to bring back this podcast. Look at this motherfucker right here.
Look who it is. Pull up a seat. Pull up a seat.
Look, I already had a seat ready for him.
Well, look who it is.
All right, here I'll give you that one. We gotta like each other.
Okay.
All right.
Get close.
So all right, here, and I'll do. Can I do that?
Yes,
Boom.
you can.
Okay.
Look at it,
Boom.
man. Reptile Talk duo in the building.
There
Rob,
we go.
what's up, my man?
What is up? How's it going, man? How we doing?
It's a pleasure to have you on here. I was stoked to have Jeremy, but there's some sort of collaboration fee I'm gonna have to pay for this one. I'm sick.
boom. There we go.
Oh, damn.
Yes, and Rob's taller, so he just took
I have
over my
long
phone.
arms, so I
He
can,
has
like,
longer
get way the
arms.
fuck away from it.
I'll just sit here and be a short ass motherfucker.
There
It's
we
all
go.
right.
Hey, so do you guys work together as much as you were working with Kevin there? You're talking about Jeremy? Are you guys? It's almost every day.
Yep,
Every day.
every day.
Yeah.
You guys annoy each other?
We've known each other for a while.
No, annoy. You guys annoy.
Oh, annoy each other. Annoy each other.
Me and Jeremy get
no.
along better than most of the people in the building. Honestly.
It's true. It's very true.
That's good. It's easier that way when you work with someone you get along with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
100%.
I'm assuming you guys take care of your own shit. You're not picking up after each other. I'm just assuming that's.
I
Or-
mean, no.
Not really. I mean, we work in different parts of the process. So
Yeah.
Nice. Now, Rob, I have to say I do follow your. Is it questions of the day on Facebook? Because you have some interesting ones. Man.
I don't do it every day, but I do it whenever I think of something. I'm like, I got to put that on there, and I throw it on there to see what people say. So
Sometimes I want to answer it, but the ones I read get so deep sometimes, and I go, "Holy shit!" I'm like, I got to step out of this one, man. But I think it's also neat too because I feel like you do ask some cool questions that people really want to like. Kind of, you could tell they're interested to explain and express. So I always thought it was interesting that you did that because you've been doing that for a while now, right?
yeah, I've been doing that on my Facebook for I don't know how many years, probably like 6 or 8 years or something. And
Right.
just like anytime I think of something, just off the top of my head, or if I listen to a lot of different podcasts too. So when I'm listening to stuff, if I get an idea, I'm just like, I'll throw that on Facebook and see what people think about it.
What their ideas. Now I have to ask you, man. How long you been at Nerd now? What's your?
I've been officially working at Nerd for 4 years. I've
Nice.
been volunteering here though since I was 17, so like 14 years.
Damn. So you put in time until you actually became an official team member.
Yeah.
You
I
right.
had my own stuff going on, and then I managed a reptile facility in Maine for a little while. So like I had other stuff going on, and then when things ended up shutting down up there, then I moved down here and started Nerd.
Dude, it seems to me like you have a lot of all around the board experience with a lot of different species. But I want to ask you, dude, what's your favorite species to work with? Like, I could tell you love a lot of them, but like, let's just say for some reason, Kevin's like, you have to fucking pick 2, and you can't
Berms. It's Berms.
No. Oh, terrible.
pick. Definitely not Berms.
That's
Why do you-
No,
that-
it's
that's
Berms.
it.
It's 100% Berms.
Where'd they go?
Fucking thanks.
You disconnected us. Damn. Okay. Before we even answer that, what's your problem against Berms? How come you don't like Berms? Just messy, or why don't you like them?
Oh, no. It has nothing to do with Berms themselves. It has to do with the people who keep Burmese pythons.
Damn.
Bruh, I'm sorry. If Berms are your favorite, we're probably not going to get along.
They're not. I keep a berm for other purposes, and it's not to breed berms. Let's just
Oh,
put it that way.
I just give people shit because every time that I get a story of someone being ignorant with a snake, it's
a
always
berm.
a fucking berm every single time. It's never like, oh, I saw this guy throw a snake at someone on the beach and it was a blood python. Nope, wasn't that. Oh, I saw this guy. He went into the bank with his snake and it wasn't a corn snake. Nope, it was a berm.
Yeah.
Every time. Every time.
I feel like almost any idiot could get their hands on a berm.
It
Most
used to be
part.
way worse. Like 10 years ago, it was
Oh, I
way
bet.
worse. And
Yeah.
then now it's not quite as bad, but I still get all these crazy stories about people who own berms. So anytime that people bring up Burmese pythons, I'm like, nope, I'm not interested in talking about it.
Rob has given me the ultimatum that if I ever get more berms than I have blood or short-tail pythons, we can't be
We
friends
can't be
anymore.
friends anymore.
That's it.
Jesus,
Very
that's
staunch.
funny. All right, so berms off the list there, especially the people who keep them. All right, so give me your favorite fucking monitor or lizard species that you work with, and your top favorite snake species to work with.
All right, so my favorite lizard species to work with, I love those lace monitors, but they hate me, so I'm not gonna say the lace monitors.
Yeah.
The ones that we got right now are monsters. Like they do not like people. I've talked to a lot of people who keep lace monitors though, and sometimes when they're babies, they're just like that. They're just little jerks. And then once they hit like 3 or 4 feet long, then they start to mellow out.
Yeah.
But the ones that we got are small, so they're like little nut cases. So I love looking at them, but I don't touch them. So we work with mostly water monitors here, so I love a lot of our water monitors that we work with at Nerd. So I love those ones for lizards. And then my favorite snakes, Kevin doesn't like anymore. So scrub pythons, he just
you lost the scrubs. You have a really nice scrub you keep there. It's actually yours.
Yeah, my Highland scrub. Yeah.
Dude.
All the ones that I pretty much everything I post on my Instagram is mine unless I tag New England Reptile in it. So just about everything I post, I try not to post nerd stuff on my Instagram, so I kind of keep it a little bit separate.
Yeah.
But I love scrub pythons. They're like the best.
His scrubs right now. So I mean, other than your scrubs, I'm a huge fan of Stephen Cush's scrubs, but your scrubs are like the mature level on them, and just how healthy they are. Like I have a couple scrubs that are like in the juvie age, and like your scrubs are goals to me, dude. Like the size, the way you have them, and
hell yeah,
just the head, bro. That head is fucking prehistoric as hell, man. It's like
can't beat it. Can't beat it when it comes to snakes.
It's almost like a loaded gun, even though you know the safety's locked or the safety's on, but not really. It's just like, you know,
he saw the safety come off a scrub real fast today. Actually,
it came off today because I was holding one of my scrubs that I've only had for about a year, but she's probably 8 or 9 feet long, like right around 9 foot long.
Yeah,
and she's curled up on my shoulders, and everything's chill. And I went to go move her because she came over the top of my head, so I went to go move her like up to bring her around my shoulder. And as soon as I touched her, she flicked her head down and opened up her mouth. And I was like, oh, well, my face is right here. There's not really anything I can do about it right now. So,
like, kind of like a mangrove almost, like just like
a quick little, like she was going to bite whatever her mouth touched. So
no, dude. Oh, man. I'm dealing with one that's a pistol, dude. Like, and like, I know throughout time, like I had one that was fucking super fire all the time. And then, you know, throughout time and shit, they mellowed down. But dude, it's, let me ask you this, because this has always tripped me out about scrubs. I've noticed scrubs that, like, I don't know how many times I could have got tagged, but they almost just headbutt you sometimes. Yep. Like they almost just like they're just
smart. They test you,
push you away. Like, yo, I'm not gonna bite you, but get away from me. Like
they just want you to know that they can.
It's like, dude, it's nuts. It's almost I almost get shoved by a snake. It's like, yo, like fuck off.
Yep.
I'm not even. You're not even worth me opening my mouth. Just leave me alone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
then. The one time that they'll grab you, it's gonna be a fucking
you'll remember
grab.
it.
Yeah. I got tagged by a younger scrub, and it wasn't too bad. I think I pulled off lucky because I mean, I've been tagged by the smallest chondro, and for whatever reason, it hit something that made my fucking skin like swell up, and I don't even know why. Like
hematoma or something.
Hit it just right, and I was like, "What?" So, you know, I can only imagine what a fucking full-grown scrub could do. But you know, that's why you spend time working with them. You get your experience, because then you could read them too. Like you could be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like,
As soon as I saw her like turn her head down, I was like, oh, here it fucking comes.
Yeah, here it comes. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dan and I are just laughing.
Yeah, and we're in this room right here, which doesn't have enough space for me to like get this snake off of me if I needed to.
Yeah.
So, Jeremy's sitting in this chair. I'm standing behind him, and then there's another guy, like a bigger guy, sitting right next to us. And I'm like, well, someone's about to get bit. I don't know if it's gonna be me.
And he's like, no, not me.
Not me. Anybody else.
So worst bite? What's the worst bite you've ever taken?
Bolin's python.
Ooh, you got tagged by a Bolin's?
An 8 foot long Bolin's python. It hit me right on my forearm, wrapped up my arm from my wrist all the way up to my shoulder.
Dude, and they're known to be chill for the most part.
Yeah, and it was just a feed response bite. I was showing somebody some of the Bolin's pythons at the place I used to work at, and they were like, "Oh, what's the rarest thing that you've got?" And they were not a snake person at all. They had no idea about anything.
I was like, worthy of this.
Yeah, literally, they were not worthy of this to see this happen. So,
oh my god,
I had them in big boa tubs. I pulled the tub like a little bit out, and I can see the snake's tail right at the front, and it's curled to the back. So I was like, oh, cool. It's sitting at the back. It's usually coiled up behind its hide box. And I'm like, okay, sweet. I pulled the tub like 3/4 of the way out. It was on top of the hide box and saw the heat signature from my arm, came right over the top, boom, hit
Dude.
my arm, start wrapping me right up. The dude's losing his mind because he doesn't know anything about snakes. He's like, I gotta call 911. I gotta call somebody.
Shut up.
And I was like, shut up, dude. It can't eat me from the middle of my arm. Fucking chill out for a second.
Yeah, it's not gonna eat me.
Exactly. So it's wrapping me up, and he's like, I gotta go get somebody. I was like, it's only on my arm. It's not touching my neck. It's not on my airways. We're fucking cool. It'll take 10 seconds. It'll figure out I'm not food, and it'll let go. And literally like 20 seconds later, boom, let go. I handled it for a second, put it right back. When I washed it off, you could barely even tell I got bit. So it was like, because I didn't pull it or anything. I just let it do its thing because I knew it was, in the middle of my arm, it can't do anything.
I've gotten bit by the biggest snakes, and just because I just let it fucking chill for a little bit and realize it's not going to be able to eat me.
Yeah.
The blood was, and it ended up being a bite you couldn't even see, dude.
Yeah.
And I've also had, let's see, this is probably the worst bite I've ever gotten. This is like a year ago, but this is from a quick bite, but I was so quick that I went and pulled back.
Instinctively,
It was like, it was terrible, dude. And it was like, oh my God, it's never pull from a retic bite or any kind of big bite.
No.
Ever.
Oh.
Yes. And my dad did that and he got 17 stitches along his finger, dude. His shit looked like he put it in a blender. Because I told him specifically, like, just fucking, if you're not comfortable feeding it, just fucking toss the rat in there. And what did he he was going like this and putting his hands in there, and it touched it, and all he did was pull right away, and it was terrible, dude. So just don't do it.
Yep.
Hey, real quick, guys, do me a huge favor. I got to take a piss, and there's people in the comments. Can you say what up to the people in comments? It's gonna take like
sure.
say what's in the comments. 1 second.
Yeah, we got you.
Here.
What's up, everybody? So
What
me
up,
and Jeremy
what up?
are here in the office at Nerd, and I'm terrible at directing this camera because it's the opposite of what direction I think it's supposed to be sitting in.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I see KB Reptiles
What's
is there.
up,
What's up, KB?
How you guys doing?
Let's see. D's Balls and Exotics. I heard MJ talking about you in the intro, and your name is awesome. D's Balls.
D's Nuts.
Let's see. Just going through. Hey, look, Rob is in the chat. How you doing, Rob?
I was in the chat. I saw you guys were like getting up to talking about Nerd, and I was like, maybe I should go invade your personal space.
That's fine. It's
get
okay.
Extra close to you.
Yeah.
Do you guys know that Jeremy and I actually lived together for a while?
It's true. We did.
When he went to music school.
When I went to one time at band camp.
This one time at band camp.
Oh, man. Sniffles is fine. I mean, Snarfles.
Snarfels.
Yeah. Snarfles is fine. Love your podcast. Thank you.
I'm glad you checked it out. Thank you for checking out the Reptile Talk podcast.
Boom. Speaking of which, I'm going to plug it while MJ's not here.
Yeah.
You can go find us on Instagram at reptile.talk.
That's right.
And you can check out the podcast on all platforms.
Hey, he's
back.
Hey.
He's back.
I'm going to put your guys' podcast link in the description below because
we were definitely not just plugging.
Yeah, we weren't plugging that at all.
We were not.
What do you mean?
Huh? What?
That was the exchange for having Rob on right now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Wow, why did it get so clear right now all of a sudden? It looks fucking terrific. What happened? Did you guys turn off the Wi-Fi or what's?
Oh,
no. We did get 4 inches closer to the router.
Yes, we did.
So that could be it.
Yeah, now you're like fucking. Now this looks like Bill Gates' Wi-Fi. It's like perfect.
Oof.
Yeah, we're not Bill Gates.
Yeah, no. You know what it is? We're in a massive concrete building. So even when you're standing on top of the router, it's still yeah.
So I do realize you guys do some stuff on Tuesdays that for Twitch or something like that, right? Or
yes.
Can you explain what that is? Because I'm kind of like a fucking. It takes me a while to catch up on things. Like,
are you a boomer?
Boomer? Nah. I was born in '85. So what does that make me?
Nah, not a boomer.
Not a boomer.
No.
I was born in '89.
Are we Generation X or something like that, or what is that, or
something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Y'all are old. I was born in '92.
Damn.
Yeah, you're just under the millennial mark, or you might be a millennial.
Yep. No, I think I'm like the very end.
90.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
90.
But I'm the cool millennial.
Yeah,
I'm the cool
listen.
millennial.
Yeah, there's definitely case by case millennials out there. There's actually one. There's ones that have the old soul, you know what I mean, and they're not fucking. Yeah, they're not there looking for handouts. I know what you mean, man.
But yeah, so Tuesdays on Twitch, basically, we wanted to do some live streaming that was different than just like showing off what we have up here at Nerd. So obviously that stuff is cool, but as social media grows, we want our followers and stuff to know a little bit more about us in a more personal way. So Donnie was like, we should do some live streams on YouTube. So we did that for a while, and he's a gamer. So he was like, dude, we should go over to Twitch because the Twitch community is solid and there's really nobody doing animal related anything on Twitch. So it's kind of like a new lane we can get in.
Like a whole, that's a one up. That's actually really awesome. You're bringing a whole nother kind of dynamic into the game, right?
Exactly. So it's the tricky part is, for the most part, we've been stationary for the live streams in one room, so we could bring animals down and show them off, and that kind of worked. But what it really has ended up becoming is just kind of like a chat amongst staff, and so we do two. We do one on Tuesdays and one on Sundays. And usually Sundays is just myself, Rob, and Donnie. And now Faith, one of our employees downstairs, that has been joining us. And then Tuesdays, Kevin's usually with us. And we're just talking. We're just shooting the shit, you know. And we've built up a pretty solid community there. And it's basically just like a get to know your host kind of thing from everybody that follows us on other social media platforms, and it's been really fun.
That's pretty awesome, man.
And so, like on YouTube, they do the super chat, right, where people can donate money, and it basically highlights it and stuff. Yeah. And through Twitch, they let you do that too, but it's like kind of more geared toward that, because as people are watching, they'll donate money. And what we do is we do giveaways of t-shirts and merch and stuff. So when they've donated $20 or $30 or whatever, we'll give away a t-shirt to any of the people who are watching. You can join and win a t-shirt. So it lets you get a little bit of merch, some cool stuff that you can wear for, repping Nerd. And then we get some money for donating our time, and it works out.
If anybody who's like just even coming in this hobby, and if like just myself, I came in this hobby 2017, and I know how classic and iconic that shirt that Jeremy is wearing. Like,
fuck yeah,
I would
love that
one
shit.
Of those shirts. It's just something that's like it's gonna become like just an antique someday. It's just fucking.
It is, because guess what? Donnie just made new shirts, and he got rid of that design because he hates it.
That's what happened.
So, discontinued.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty much discontinued. Once those are gone, they're pretty much gonna be gone.
Any giveaway is going to go off if that shirt's involved. I'm just telling you right now. It's going to be nuts.
Kev busted out some old school like vintage Nerd shirts from like back in the day.
The ones that like comic, it's like a comic type thing. Like it has it's like a meme almost, like an old school meme.
Yeah, but even he brought in some even older ones, some ones that like probably haven't seen the light of day since the early 90s.
Literally, like he had old tank tops that like have New England Reptile with like a carpet python on them, and those were like, even people who are like
have
been around for a while
don't
seen
know
those.
that.
If you were local and you bought a shirt while you were here, you might have seen those. But if you were anywhere else around the country, you wouldn't have even seen them.
Yeah,
super.
Yeah, exactly.
I love those. That's what I'm saying. I have shirts that I made, and I ended up not putting them out. But like I'm always gonna like at some point I will. But it's like gonna be like an iconic classic shirt at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty awesome. Real quick, Rob, can you kind of tell us how you even got into the door at Nerd? Like, can you just kind of give us a quick like who the fuck did you know, or because I know you were putting in, or did you just show up and start volunteering? Because I know you said you were volunteering for a while, right?
So when I got the internet when I was just starting high school, because like when we grew up, there was no fucking internet, so I didn't get internet until I started high school, basically. So when I was like 14 or so, and it wasn't actually usable internet until I was probably like 15 or 16. But there used to be online forums there where you could go to a website and they would have forums where you could post pictures from PhotoBucket that you upload.
Oh my god, bro! I lost the password to my PhotoBucket. I have shit from like 2003, like years ago. And I'm like dying to get in there, and I just can't.
Yep.
It's so sad.
Yeah. So Nerd used to have its own forums, and since I was from New England, I was like, oh man, this guy's, keeping reptiles, he's breeding them, he's selling them, he's living the dream. He's working with reptiles every day. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I joined the Nerd forums when I was like 15 or so, and I would just like read whatever people are writing and comment on stuff back and forth and everything. But no one ever knew that I was 15, because from the time that I was 5, I was like reading books and like papers and all this stuff about keeping reptiles, and just talking to people. I would do anything I could to just get information about reptiles. So when I would go on the forums, people thought I was like, a 30-year-old keeping snakes. And I was like, no, actually, I don't have any snakes. I just like really love these things a lot. So if you know more than me, you should teach me something. And so on the Nerd forums, I got real friendly with Kevin's ex-girlfriend, Kara. And she was big into blood pythons. So blood pythons have been my love pretty much since I was a kid. As soon as I saw a picture of blood python, I fell in love with them. I was just like, I need to work with those bloods and short tails. Yeah. So she was like the short tail person at Nerd. So I would talk to her all the time and just like bother her constantly. And she was like, why don't you just come up and like, check out some snakes and maybe you can clean some stuff. And I was like, if you let me clean some snakes, if you let me hang out and check out some blood pythons, I'll clean whatever you want. So as soon as I got my license, I was like, I'm coming up there. I'm checking things out. So literally, as soon as I got a job, every cent that I made was going into gas for me to get up to Nerd. And I would go in the summertime. I would go up 3 days a week. It was an hour away from my house. I would drive up 3 days a week. I would walk in the door, head upstairs, talk to Andy or Kara or Kevin, and I'd just be like, what do you need to get cleaned? What can I do? And so they would have me clean baby ball pythons. They would have, work my way up until I was working with reticulated pythons and monitors and caiman and all the crazy stuff that we work with at Nerd. Like the first time I met Kevin, though, the first time I went to Nerd and like got to meet him, he was standing out he was having a bonfire in the backyard, in the back of the building. Yeah. And I walk up and Kara's like, oh, this is my friend Rob. He's from the forums. He's like, oh, you're the blood python kid. And I'm like, yeah. And Kara's like, oh, he plays guitar and he likes metal. So he's like, wait a second, come here. And he takes me up to his fucking room, hands me like a $3,000 flying V guitar and is like, play something for me right now. And I was like, oh, fuck. Crazy. Fuck, no. So I'm sitting there and he's like, no. This is what you got to do. You got to get better at your picking. And you got to do this scale. And he like plays the scale and he's like, now play it back for me. And I was like, okay. So it took me like 10 minutes to learn this scale. And I'm like, oh my God, I look like a fucking idiot. This guy's like, oh, he hates me. But then every time he would see me coming up and cleaning, and I would stay after the staff would leave and I would just clean and clean and clean. And since Kara was there, I would just like, hang out with them and just clean shit. If it was the rodent room, if it was ball pythons, I didn't care what it was. As long as I was working with reptiles, I was doing it.
Can we deviate for a moment? Yes. Because Kevin kind of just did a similar thing to me the other day. I was just tracking some shit before I went to go clean my snakes on Monday, and he came over and he's like, so what you working on? And I was like, oh, I'm just tracking some shit. And he was like digging what I was recording over. Yep. And he like grabbed his guitar because he's got a guitar in my studio. Yes. And we'll just like record random shit. But so he grabs his guitar and he's like plucking some things out, and he's like, you should try this. And he's like doing that and like expects me to be able to do it on the trumpet. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, oh fuck. All right. So he's like, do this thing, and I'm like, play it one more time. Because my ear is pretty good. I don't have perfect pitch, but I have really good relative pitch. So I was like, what's your starting note? So he tells me the starting note, and I was like, okay, I know exactly what you're doing now. And he was like, fuck yeah, dude. Now do it this way and speed it up. He's like, you got to fucking get all that stuff in there. And I was like, it's a trumpet, though. I can't do that.
You can't do sweeps on a trumpet.
So,
sorry.
yeah. I can get close, but no cigar.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking is like he could be asking you to do a lot worse. You know what I mean? So it's
this is true.
Yeah,
this is very true.
Like, because if Kevin asked me to do something, I would kind of be like you almost have to do it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yep.
Depending. I don't do that gay shit, but it just depending. Like, I mean. Dude, that's what I was gonna say also is I don't think people really understand, dude, like back what you like everything you just explained, right? How you were fucking spending any money you had on your gas to go up to fucking work with Kevin. Like that's how you built a network back then. There's no fucking
100%.
tagging people in a story. There's no fucking you know what I mean, like finding somebody that you're just you gave them such a great reach around on the right day where like boom, you fucking you just like now you guys are friends, because it's like it's kind of easy to get to somebody through social media nowadays, like without having to travel to them and without having to fucking but you knew, for instance, that this is your biggest way to get to do something you truly love, right? Because your true passion was the bloods. And you knew Kevin had those short tails and those bloods that you're fucking dreamy about, you wanted to work with.
Yep.
So what was your commute? How long were you traveling to?
An hour. Door to door, it was a little bit of an hour, like just about an hour, unless there was traffic. Boston is between my house and here, where I grew up. So if it was like anytime around traffic time, it's 3 hours. But if there's no traffic, if I go early in the morning or like, maybe around 3, you might be able to get through Boston, but if I go late or early, it's an hour door to door.
Now let's tell us this. So where is your blood and short tail game at since you've gone to nerd? Like ever since you've commuted, like ever since you've committed yourself and you're at where you're at, like how strong is your short tail and your blood game now?
It is pretty nice. I've got some really incredible stuff that I'm working with. I actually just had babies hatch out over the last couple days. I got some Borneos that just hatch out, and they're like blowing my mind. And then I've got another 2 clutches of short tails in the incubator. Me and my girlfriend have a clutch of blood pythons in the incubator. I got carpet pythons in the incubator, and then may or may not have scrub eggs in the next month or two. So
may or may not. It's kind of like
she's ultrasounded like she's got eggs. She just is starting to go through opaque right now, like a pre-lay shed. She's been acting like an asshole and refusing food, so we'll see. She's the friendliest scrub python I've got. I literally don't even need a hook. I just pull open her tub that she's in right now, and I can just scoop her right up. But the last time that I went in there, she gave me the side eye like she wanted to hurt me. So, and I've had her for 5 years, and she's never done that. So we'll see. Maybe Barneck babies in the near future.
Well, I mean, either way, it's like you're kind of excited for almost any progress at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's in the right direction. You know what I mean? And I wish you the best with that, because I mean that's probably like a 4 or 5 year project for me. Like I'm talking about like invest wise, but I'm just raising them up, and I'm in no rush. But to see like people like you working with the scrubs and Steven, it's like I'm rooting for you, bro, because like the better you do, the more knowledge is going to be put out there, and then everyone's going to win and shit. So I'm really excited to see what you do with the scrubs, man. Other than the scrubs and the bloods, and you can answer this too, Jeremy, after Rob, but other than the scrubs and the bloods and the short tails, what else do you breed that you're pretty excited about?
Right now, that's pretty much what I'm focused on, honestly. I went for a while where I was just like, I need to get some of this and some of that and some of this and some of that.
You mean
Yeah, that's what Jeremy's doing right now. And it's tough to focus on what you're doing and like stay on it, because like when I get excited about a project, I'm like, yeah, I gotta do this and do that, and like I get all ginned up about it. But if you got too many pots on the stove, stuff gets harder to watch. So I've moved further away from doing a bunch of different projects, and I've moved more towards just keeping things that I enjoy, and like breeding's cool and everything. Like this year I kind of went crazy. Because I kind of wanted to, sell some stuff and potentially get a house. So I was like, I need to produce some stuff. So I paired up almost everything I paired this year is producing for me. So I kind of went too crazy this year. This is not how I want to be in the next several years. If anything, I want to do like 1 clutch or 2 clutches a year and just have that be it, because I'm not the kind of person who's chasing. Whoa, what's up, Freedom Breeder?
Freedom Breeder in the house. What's up?
I dig that.
This is probably the celebrity appearance of the night, Freedom Breeder. I'm telling you right now.
Boom.
So
there you go.
Shout out to Freedom Breeder in the building. This is they don't really show their face in anything much. So dude,
appreciate that.
That's you, Jesse. Appreciate you, Jesse. You the man. Woo! think that is Jesse, or Cusco hacked into it and he's just trying to be nice.
Damn it, Cusco, if it's you.
Yeah, I don't know. The Bloods and short tails, honestly, short tails more than blood pythons are really my drive. Borneos are just my jam, and they always have been. And then the scrubs, and if the scrubs never breed for me, I won't be upset, honestly.
Like you'll never get rid of them, right? Like they're always going to be your life.
Fuck no.
I
If I could get rid
appreciate
of
that.
everything else, I would keep my scrubs. I would literally scrubs would be it.
That's how I feel about
And
my.
I'd probably get all his short tails.
Yeah. If it absolutely came down to it, like I'd be hard pressed to get rid of some of my Borneos, but if it came down to it, like you'd only keep one species, it'd be scrubs, 100%.
Scrubs is a different cup of tea, man.
It is.
They're amazing, especially if you like when you raise one too. It's just I don't know, man. They're so different from anything else, dude.
They are, and it's like tough to describe that to people.
Yeah, because they actually acknowledge who the fuck like that. Like, hey, look, you know what I mean? They just they give you the time of day almost, but like either in a good way or bad way.
yeah, but like literally, they're thinking. Like when people talk about smart snakes, a lot of times people bring up reticulated pythons, and like reticulated pythons can be smart and stuff until you bring out food, and then they have one brain cell and it's only focused on food, and everything's food. I've seen reticulated pythons chew on plastic, chew on snake hooks, chew on tubs.
Retic's like a fucking big dumb jock, like
literally.
A great athlete, fucking has all the potential in the world, but can't add or just can't fucking just can't read. You know what I mean? But like you love them anyways. Like Retics are fucking. They're like you said, they're smart, but it doesn't take much for them to just become stupid and
tripped up.
Yeah. And man, it's funny that you bring that up because man, one thing I appreciate Kevin with his. I'm sure he approved this post, but remember a while ago when he fucking he had cows breeding and one of them shred the fucking female to and like I was like, I don't know who I talked to, but it was cool that I got a response. But I was like, yo, what happened? Did it live? And that fucking thing healed up.
Right away.
It's like a goddamn German tank, dude. And I'm talking about this thing looked like someone took a fucking machete to it.
Knife,
dude.
Like
it was like
times on the top of her head.
Like an Indonesia villager fucking caught it or something, and like it just looked really bad. And it was one of those moments where my heart sank, and it was like, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing, I'm a sob with animals. Like I fucking love the animals, dude. Like you know what I mean? So I remember there's a lot of things I saw that really angered me. Like I remember, I don't know who it was, and I know it's nothing personal now, but fucking, I remember I saw someone feeding a retic to a cobra. You know what I mean? And it was like, God. And I know it's like that's just a cobra being a cobra, but like, dude, I just bought that snake, and now you're fucking. You know what I mean? Like it was so heartbreaking. You know what I mean? And it was just the true reality of fucking reptile keeping. It's like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sure that retic had something wrong with it or something. Like who knows? Like I guess it is better than tossing it in the freezer or fucking just killing it, but.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it's stuff like that was just like true raw shit on the internet, and like you don't really see too much because how much people will pick it at your fucking front door if you do that now. Like, my God, it's raw, bro. Like, woo, yeah, like PETA's in there. You know what I mean? Like, oh my, it's nuts. Especially on Facebook. How do you guys deal with all? I mean, you guys. I mean, for the most part, I see you guys are heavy. You guys have a huge fan base on Facebook, but I'm sure you have to deal with idiots even on Facebook, right? I mean, do you?
I mean, they're everywhere, man. It's
more on Facebook or more on Instagram. Where is it worse at, honestly, from what you guys experience?
Oof. I mean, we're probably. I mean, we're equally active on Instagram as we are on Facebook, but most of what we do is through the Instagram, and then it just gets shared over to Facebook. Sometimes vice versa, but it's I don't know. I certainly see a lot of the failures.
I see a lot
in the comment section on really. I see them a lot on Instagram, but I think
I don't read the Instagram comments. So.
Yeah, I try not to either. I think Facebook is like a whole other world because not only we're both fairly active on our Facebooks outside, so we see it when we're just like kind of perusing through. But then if you're a member of any Facebook group, you really see how nasty it can get. You know, and then you're like, I don't want to see that person's name under a nerd post ever.
It's bad, dude. It's like I'm only a part of maybe like 2 Facebook groups. It's only because I'm in love with basins and I'm in love with chondros and those. Like I'm a part of 2 groups. But then there's sometimes where it's almost like you think they're trolling you. They'll post an animal like, I just got this new pickup, and it's like you could tell it has like 2 misstuck shed, like 2 shed cycles that it hasn't come off. It just looks terrible. It's in a tank, and there's literally people liking it. Like I'm like, and there's people that like I know that have experience that are liking this shit. And I'm like, yo, if we're really trying to help anybody, they need to fucking tell this person how it is. Like, hello. And like, you know, unfortunately, there's people who just like, it's bad. Like you get people that just wait for fucking posts like this and go in and just rip it apart. So it's kind of like, are these real people? Like, are they just faking it? Like,
I mean, that's an issue with just the internet in general, man. But I mean, like, it's been going on for so long. It used to even happen on the forums sometimes.
Oh, like,
you know, like God. Clockwork. You know, you'd wait for that one specific post, and it's like, well, this suddenly has 7 pages of unnecessarily sarcastic comments.
Let me get my popcorn because I need to read fucking this 3-hour thread of bullshit that just happened.
Yeah.
Hey, but honestly, sometimes they're such good reads, dude. You're just like, what the like, oh my God, this is gonna get good. This is gonna get too fucking good, you know? And it's like, oh man, and the ones, but there's times where you just have to look away because you want to respond. So I'm learning that it's never worth responding. Just leave it. Just walk away. Just walk away. Anytime I've ever responded to Facebook, it got me in, like, not in trouble, but it created something where I'm like, I don't want to be in this now. And then they take it somewhere where they fucking bring out the beast in me, because you know what I mean? I have anger problems. So it's like, it's just like sometimes it's just not worth it. Just break the wrist and walk away. Just fucking
You know what I learned from quite a few people who are like really heavy in the social media game. A comment is a comment, regardless of if it's negative or negative or positive. The comment is an act of engagement. So at the end of the day, motherfuckers just making you look better by the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no publicity. There's no such thing as a bad publicity. If somebody's talking about you, like, you're putting that person on somehow, you know what I mean? And that's why I never really understood, like, just putting somebody out there on blast. Like, I'll just check somebody for, like, if it's something like that's conversational, but I'll never really put somebody on a platform on my page and be like, oh, like, look what this person's doing or something, like, or at least I've learned not to, because like all you're doing is promoting whatever the fuck you don't want to promote. Like, it's kind of like, you know, you're biting yourself in the fucking, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and like, look, I feel like if your mind's in the right place and you're looking for the right things, then Facebook could be good. Like I mean, you could find some cool shit there. I've met some really good people on Facebook that didn't have Instagram for a while, and now they have it. And like, you know what I mean? I was able to build good relations. So it's definitely teach their own. I think really, Rob, the reason why you're fucking, I think you've been established for so long that Facebook's old school. You know, Facebook people are like the OGs of reptile keeping, of people who refuse to get Instagram, and now they're almost forced to get Instagram because, like, if you have a business, you're an idiot if you don't have Instagram. I'm sorry, like, you don't understand how many customers I have all on Instagram. You know what I mean? And I was able to sell snakes in a heartbeat just by posting on a story. Like, I'm just saying, Instagram is fucking. It doesn't hurt. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Rob, do you have any kind of advice for anyone who's like, you know, because you got people who are looking to get into new shit every day. Like I have this podcast primarily of ball python keepers, right? But I also have people who are influenced to getting into other species. They want to dabble into different things. I was one of them, right? Jeremy, you're in a position where you kind of want everything right now, right? Or what's going on with you?
That's no. So I'll keep it short because this could go on forever. But I've always been attracted to so many different species, reptiles wise. When I was coming up, and I had my original company, J&D Reptiles, I had like 35 different species of reptiles that I was keeping and breeding, from different colubrid species to different boas and pythons and stuff. And it's just because I've liked it all. And it's so hard to be like, nope, because even if I was just breeding a pair of normals of whatever it was, I was like, this is the coolest thing in the world. And all my primary mentors had super diverse collections. So it was just kind of like ingrained in me really young in my learning in the hobby of like, the more diverse your collection can be, the cooler life is, you know.
No.
And I was
like that.
So there's an element to that that's actually true. If you're thinking about it from a business standpoint, it has a little bit more validity to you because you get to touch multiple corners of the market. So there's an element to that. I give like the utmost amount of kudos to people like Rob who can focus on, 2 or 3 different species and be like, I'm cool, bro. Because I'm literally like, nope, I need this too. Like, and it's gotten me into situations, but I just like too much, so then the key there is to be able to focus, right? So like right now, I think I've got probably like 13 or 14 different species of reptiles that I work with in my personal collection. And the key there is focus. So like for me, I love carpet pythons. That's been like a go-to for a long time. And I've had IJs, coastals, centralians, and jungles, and kept and bred them all. And I'm literally like at a point now where I'm like, I really like centralians and jungles. So I've started to whittle away at the other stuff. Like I don't have IJ stuff anymore. I'm getting rid of some coastal stuff after this year so I could really dial in the jungle and bredlife projects. So in that instance, it's really just about, okay, I like all this stuff, but I can't just have a million of this and a million of that and a million of this. I really want to be able to focus on a specific project with a species that I really enjoy. So colubrids have been the new right now, but not new for me, group of snakes. So I just got like a big group of high white cow kings, because to me, the look of a high white cow king is absolutely phenomenal. And they're a great snake, but yeah, I mean, so I'm not tame in any sense of the word when it comes to growing a collection at all.
Now my question for Rob.
Yeah.
For a lot of people like Jeremy, right? You've been in this game long enough. I'm sure I'm sure yourself, maybe you've had a few species or whatnot, but what is your advice for anybody out there who wants to work with it all? You know what I mean? Or maybe he wants to work with as many species as Jeremy's working with. Shit, I have over 10 species. So I've even had to calm myself and check myself. But from your experience, Rob, like what's a good bit of advice you have for anybody out there who's looking to dabble into more than 1 or 2 species?
Get a routine. Figure out a way that you can feed your colubrids and stuff that eats every day, or not every day, but like more.
It probably would eat every day.
Yeah, but like the stuff that eats more frequently, set up a day where it's like, okay, every Sunday and Thursday I'm feeding those animals, and have those animals set in an area if you can, or just find a way that you can have some sort of routine to it. Because if you're not on top of like, oh, I have to feed this thing today, stuff will just start getting away from you, especially if it's a bigger collection. If it's a small collection, it's not a big deal. But if you have, ambitions of having a bunch of different things and working with a bunch of different things, you need to have some sort of, way to make it easier on yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to do it, because if you don't, you're never going to be successful at any of the individual things that you're working with.
Yeah, that's very true. Speaking from somebody who has had to do that for a long time, it's very true. The routine is key.
Yeah.
You ever breed ball pythons, Rob?
Yeah, I've bred a lot of different things. I bred Chinese water dragons. I bred tokay geckos. I bred leopard geckos. I bred ball pythons. I bred Sumatran short-tail pythons, Borneo short-tail pythons, blood pythons. I bred common boas. I bred hognose snakes. I've bred Amazon tree boas. I've bred...
This guy's out of control.
Bearded dragons, Argus monitors here. I bred... I don't know, I help breed the reticulated pythons. I work with
just as nuts as me.
Yeah, I've done a lot of different things.
What about the basins? How involved are you with the basins and the emeralds, or is it just basins you guys breed?
We work with northerns and basins, but most of that stuff's Kevin. That's his
baby
project right now.
Designer.
So,
that's designer stuff. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, I've bred Amazon tree boas before, but I've not bred emeralds before, and I haven't bred the basins before. I could probably figure it out, but Kevin did the northerns 3 or 4 years ago, and then now he's heavy on the basins. So we'll see how the basins go.
I love his fucking design on his enclosures. I mean, it like if you look from afar, like that looks like the easiest basic shit, but like it's still functional. it's so functional and like it's so dialed in for that snake. For those snakes, like they produce perfectly off of it. He has crates as perches and shit. It's nuts, bro. Like I just it's so like I don't know. It just reminds me of like something he probably figured out years ago and never switched it and just kept it. You know what I mean? Where
you know what's interesting is like he's always evolving his methodology for building enclosures. Yeah. You know, like when
every week there's like 2 or 3 times a week where he'll come up to me and be like, so I'm thinking about building these monitor cages. And I'm going to do this thing like this. What do you think about that? And I'm like, well, I see how it could work well for this and then not so great for that. And he's like, okay. And then he'll go away. And then 2 days later, he's going to come back. Okay, so that thing I fixed by doing this thing over here. And then, but before he even builds it. So he's like constantly
thinking. Because he'll do the same thing to me too. Yeah.
Does he hold back a lot of his basins?
Kind of, yeah. He holds back a little bit of everything, honestly. Like
it's true,
but those right there,
wild.
It's like a diamond producing. You're literally producing like fucking. I don't know. That's such a dreamy species of mine, but it's like, man, if you're ever proud about producing any kind of animal, that basin's definitely high, like heavy on that list. It's just like it's such a dreamy thing. Real quick, the Bolins, man. When he talked about the interview. How he's pretty much locked in the Bolin breeding, like it's pretty much figured out.
We're not allowed to disclose any of that information.
Whoa! We talked, Jeremy. You said you said anything goes. Tigers out of the cage.
I know. I gave you an answer though. There's your answer. We're not allowed to disclose that information.
Yeah.
If we do that, we're fired.
We're fired.
Not worth it. Not worth it. But we're going in the right direction. Can you at least say yes or no on that?
Yes.
Okay, that's huge, guys. Any bowling freaks out there, which I know there's a few out there. I'm one of them, but I'm really excited. I mean, it must be so cool to be even part of that shit, man. You guys are really a part of some shit that obviously nobody's doing in the United States. And the diverse shit that you guys do, it's just pretty nuts. It's dreamy, man. You guys really must love your day to day. Your guys' hours, like what's a typical day like? When you walk into Nerd and when you leave.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's you never know what you're gonna walk into.
Literally, you will never. Like, not as crazy as Tiger King, but close. But close. Every day that you come in, there's something else going on, and you're never gonna be able to predict what it is. Like, we have a cave room that's like basically made to look like the inside of the cave. That's where the king cobra, the white king cobra. I can't even think of her name right now. Lilith. Dude, I totally blanked. That's where Lilith is hanging out, and she's got an 8-foot animal plastics cage in there, and there's a bunch of enclosures in the walls in there, and it makes it look just like a cave, right? Yeah. So we've got one of our 5-foot alligators in there, and she's learned to jump out of her pond. So some days you come in, and she'll be sitting right at the door, and you open up the door, and she's just hissing right at you. And you gotta get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. Other days she's on a pile of tortoises basking.
And other days she's hanging out with tortoises that live in there. Like you never know. You never know. There's like in one of our retic rooms we have sliding glass doors on the enclosures.
Yeah.
And some of the females have learned that if you brace yourself against the back of the enclosure and then hit the glass in just the right way, you can pop it out of the track. So there's some days where you come in and there's a 15-foot reticulated python on the floor curled up in there, and it's like, well, I got to do that before I go punch in.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And like that's like imagine that's like the start of your day. It's fucking. I could really get your like. Why do you need coffee? Like that's your fucking.
Oh no, that's exactly why you need coffee.
I don't. You know what? I don't drink caffeine, so I don't.
Yeah.
I just like I get up and it's like reptiles, and my eyes are.
Awake? I make a stop at Dunkin' Donuts every day for coffee.
I feel like I've been drinking coffee for like no reason this whole time because I'm getting old, so it gives me heartburn and shit now, right? So, but I would still like it, but then or not like it, but I'd still feel like I need it. But honestly, I've been off coffee for like over a month, and like I'm like Rob, I get up and I'm like, fuck, like what do I what room do I need to hit first? You know what I mean? And but midday and shit, I kind of slug a little bit, but I my body's been feeling a lot better not drinking coffee than drinking coffee. So
Mhm.
it's crazy how that works sometimes. It's like a mind thing, you know. You think you want something, but really it's not, you know.
You don't need it. Yeah.
Not practical. Maybe owning too many species. I don't know. Never.
No, there's never. No. That's a lie. There's too many.
Yeah.
There is too many.
I'll-
I am very good at getting to a point where I can say that's enough.
Uh-huh.
It just takes me some time.
Can we talk about the albino mangrove though?
Bro, let's talk
Dude,
about that
please.
motherfucker.
That is so goddamn legendary and gaudy right now. Like, what the fuck? You just bred them, right? Aren't they bred? Like, aren't
Yeah.
they-
He's
We've got
been,
we've
like-
got hets on the ground.
He's been breeding like a monster.
And it's a male.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a fucking monstrous. He came in big already and everything, right? Like he was
Yeah.
already floss in prime time,
Yeah.
picked out of the wild.
Yeah, I think they had him.
They had had him for a year.
for a little while, so he had already been captive overseas. Yeah, I mean, by the time he got here, he was pretty much
He was eating
perfect.
mice and everything. Like,
Yeah, it was nothing. The
Easy.
only imperfection is just the tip of his tail.
is missing. Yeah.
But other than that, you know, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's
Not a big deal.
yeah, you couldn't ask for
Yeah.
a better looking animal.
You can't complain on that. I mean, it
No.
it already looks captive bred. Like it looks so prime.
Yeah.
Like it really looks great. And what's crazy is that we are not too far from having those more. You know, if everything goes well, right?
Yep.
That's fucking nuts. That's going to change everything. I love mangroves, and I feel like, you know, yeah, they're not for everybody, but they're also not a rattlesnake either. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's something that somebody who's passionate and understanding and wants to get to know their animal can easily keep a mangrove. There's no problem with that. Imported ones and shit, because you like, it's rare. Like you have getting that, you know, I think because how rare that animal is, period. That's why you got it in so fresh. But for the most part, you know, getting mangroves, I mean, it's hit or miss the way they come in imported, right? I mean, they're not all
Yeah.
fucking, I have 4 in my freezer that are still fucking, that rolled on me like the first week I started working with them. This is back in 2018. I don't know why they're just dying on me, but it took me a while to just fucking figure them out. And turns out the importer, but
Yeah.
It
yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
They can
it
come in with a
happens.
pretty heavy parasite load. So if they
Yeah.
don't get treated like right
Yep.
away, it like they can
They
tank,
tank
so fast.
fast. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, that's kind of the learning things you have to deal with. So, I mean, mangroves are pretty high, you know, high up in my, you know, special species I work with. And I just, that albino mangrove and the fucking the albino white lip. I mean,
We need to post more of him. He's
yeah, what's going on?
he's not on site here. We have another building that's not open to the public.
Mhm.
And he's actually over there. So it's like basically cooler temp species are over in that area because this building is like sweltering all the time.
Yeah.
So most of our cool temp stuff is at the other building, and mostly it's Kevin who goes over there and does all the work with the animals over there. So it's just, you know, whatever he feels like taking video of is what gets videoed over there. And it's usually
Basins.
the basins. It's almost
So the
always
basins are in that building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn. So that's like okay, I got you. And is he breeding? Is that breeding white lip breeding right now or no? The albino?
He's been paired. I don't. The last time I talked with him, he wasn't sure if it actually took this season.
Mhm.
Kev was kind of going mad trying to find more female
Females,
white
yeah.
lips because
Everyone's
we
buying
didn't
the
really have
stats.
we didn't really have a plethora of large female white lips. So I don't know if we'll see anything from him this year.
Next year.
But next year that is like target.
How big's your group of white lips? Like, is it big or is
giant,
it?
no.
No, it's not giant at all. I mean, we've probably got like maybe 1 or 2 female, like adult females.
Yeah.
And then we've got some that we're raising
We got,
up that
like-
are like yearlings and stuff. So hopefully we can see some hets next season, and then we can start to see more in a few more years.
How are the attitudes on those females? The white lips, are they pretty
I don't fuck
docile? Are they?
They're not. No, you know what? I mean, they're not
Yeah.
horrible. They're to what white lips can be. They're not horrible. They're certainly flighty and will light you up if you give them the chance.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, they're not too bad. They're pretty mild mannered.
This is what I've come to learn with white lips. So I have a white lip named Amy Fisher. Like, she's fucking nuts. Like she's been nuts like from the get go, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, I feel like the reason why she's been nuts and not really chilling out is because I give her too much time to realize what's going on when I get her out of the tub. Meaning, like when I open the tub, instead of just going in there and grabbing her, I'm like, I'm backing up and like letting her.
You're prepping, yeah.
And that never worked at all, dude. So I eventually was like, I started getting tagged by the white lip, and it hurt, but it wasn't too bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't have time to wait. Like, I need to just fucking man the fuck up and just, you know, pick up the white lip, put it in the tub so I could clean it. And ever since I started just picking it up, it fucking just doesn't trip out. Like, I don't know what it was, but I mean,
sometimes they'll give you the little go ahead where they're like, I'm gonna get you, and then if they don't.
Yeah.
Or no matter what though, if anything quick goes in front of their face, they're hitting it. They don't like this girl. This girl hates any quick reactions. Like she hates anything that goes. So, but I mean, I've come to realize that it's more like, you know, don't make it a big deal yourself. Just fucking go in there, grab it. You know what I mean? And
yeah, the confidence of the handler often dictates the confidence of the animal.
And white lips are smart. I feel like white lips they're not idiots. White lips are smart as fuck too. So they kind of like
they've got a brain for sure.
For ticks? No.
They can go pretty crazy for food too.
Oh no, for reals, yeah. No, yeah, I definitely know that. You guys don't work with any team wars, huh?
No.
Nope.
No team wars?
No.
Is there a reason behind that? Just nothing to no market behind it, or what do you think?
There's 100% a market behind it. It's just that we've got so many other things going on.
True.
That just it hasn't come on the table. I'm willing to bet next year Kevin will get them. Like I don't doubt that at all.
That's sick. I keep a group of 7. Hopefully I could produce some dimes and be like,
that's where it's at.
Here, Jeremy, pass it along, and then
yeah.
I'd be dreamy as fuck. You guys have snapping turtles, don't you?
We do, yes.
And you have one big. I've seen Rob hold one that's pretty gigantic, right?
Bubba.
Yeah,
Bubba,
that's big alligator snapping turtle.
How old is that motherfucker?
I don't know. He's been here at the building for at least 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he was actually rescued from a turtle soup restaurant down in, I want to say, Louisiana.
A turtle soup restaurant?
Yeah, dude. Down south, they love alligator snapping turtle soup.
Have you guys tried it?
Nah,
no.
Dude. If it wasn't a protected species, I would probably give it a shot. I've had alligator before. I've had frog's legs before. I'm not opposed. You know, meat's meat to me. It doesn't really matter. But if it's a protected species, I'm not interested.
So they're still eating it down there, like they're even though it's protected.
Oh yeah. You think the rednecks care, man?
No, never.
That might have been a little controversial. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Let him know.
Let him know. Stop eating those damn turtles, motherfuckers.
Green turtle night, motherfucker.
But he was rescued. So like he was literally on the chopping block, and someone went into the restaurant who was like animal lover. And was like, look, you can't kill him. I'll buy him live, whatever the cost. I don't care. I'll buy him. And it was someone who was just like passionate about animals, but didn't have the facilities to take care of him. So, you know, they searched Reptiles, found New England Reptile, contacted us and asked us if we would take him in so that he didn't get collected by these people and killed. And the entire time that I've been coming here, he's been here. So at least 15 years.
Yep.
That's why I don't want to travel to Thailand or any of those countries where you could buy a chimp or something and you know, like, look at that thing. It's probably fucking. I mean, I don't know if it's Thailand, but I remember I read a story somewhere where like somebody was selling orangutans, and this is like back in the 90s, but like it was the saddest story in the world because like, you know, how are you gonna walk away from a baby orangutan that looks so depressed? Yeah. You know what I mean? They ended up buying it or something, but then they ended up not knowing what to do with it. Anyways, the backstory was fucking really depressing and terrible, but
yeah,
it's just fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ever have to witness anything like that.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, shit's not cool, man.
It's not. So, shout to that fucking Bubba. Bubba has a great life now. He's not eating. He's not.
It's true.
Legit.
Those fools eat like they eat rodents and shit, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Is that all?
Really
Is that all they eat?
I was gonna say just about anything you fucking
you
put in front of them. Yeah.
Tub he'll eat.
Yeah.
And do they like not eat for a while, like during the winter or anything like that? Like, do they hibernate, or is it something where you feed them all the time?
In the wild, they would. We actually have him on a diet right now because he was getting a little fat. Like you could see rolls when you're holding, or like when you go to pick him up and stuff.
Yeah.
So and in the wild, they definitely go through phases where they're not interested in eating. So we do kind of cyclical feeding. We'll feed them kind of heavier through the summertime, and then usually through the winter we'll feed them a little bit lighter.
Nice. So what's your guys' plan with the podcast? You guys fucking, like I said earlier, you guys are bringing some really cool guests. You guys got some sick shit lined up, or like what's the game plan with the podcast, man? Because it's going good.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have some plans to keep it going. You know, I mean, we're a little over 2 months in now.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, we just recorded episode 10 with Brian Cusco.
Nice. Brian's great, huh?
Oh yeah, I love Brian, man. And it was a fun episode to record. The whole evening was fucking laugh.
His setup is so ridiculous, huh? It's like like movie theater, like.
Dude, he sent me a picture, and then I immediately FaceTimed him, and I was like, I just want to see this table in real time, bro. Like,
yeah. For real, his background looks fake. Everything doesn't even look real. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
it's so true.
But that's
so true.
He's been doing it for years. Like, he's definitely a pro at what he does.
He's got it in, yeah.
He has that shit.
He's got it dialed in.
He's such a good guy to talk to. I could talk to Cusco for hours. I think we went 4 hours. We fucking talked forever on mine.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So I think I mean the biggest thing that we wanted to do with the podcast was there's a lot of species specific podcasts. There's a lot of reptile care related podcasts, which are all awesome. But this kind of format where it's just like we're just gonna talk, but let's talk reptile, like. Yeah. Field herping experience, reptile show experience. If you breed, what are you breeding? What are your experiences with breeding, traveling, all of that stuff. Especially now, I mean, like when we went down to Florida before all the COVID nonsense, we got to hang with Tom Crutchfield and like all this stuff and like really talk to people who we may have known online for a while, but never really had the chance to actually speak with for an extended period of time and just learn from them and just talk to them. You're not going to get that anywhere else, and I will 100% go out and say it. There's a lot of fucking newbies in this goddamn industry that don't know how to use social media appropriately and contact the people that formulated this damn industry from nothing. Okay. Like, and it irritates me, dude, because like, I've been keeping for 20 years. And it's like, I had to dig, if it wasn't for the fact that I knew somebody who could get me in the door somewhere, I wouldn't have gotten there. Now it's literally as simple as I follow Tom Crutchfield and I want to send that man a message because I want to hear about this badass herping story from when he was in Indo because he posted this picture of, whatever. That's unheard of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't feasible. You couldn't pull that off 20 years ago.
Exactly.
It wasn't that easy at all.
Yeah. So I mean, like, to be in a position now where you can do that, but people still choose not to because the Facebook group is God. Like, get fucked. I'm sorry. But like, it irritates the shit out of me, dude. Like, it really just irritates the shit out of me, man. Like, so we just want to talk reptiles with people. So like we're gonna do an episode with Kevin. We're talking with Tom Crutchfield to get Tom on. We want to get Barcheck on. I would love to get like Eugene Bissett on. I mean, like some of like the OG keeper names that like you might not even know exist, but also some of the, I guess you could say, quote, more relevant people thanks to social media that also have an amazing story to tell. And because you can learn something from everybody. Literally, not everything they say is necessarily going to be educational, but you can learn something from everybody. And that's so valuable. So to be able to be in a position where we can reach out to these people and say like, hey, do you want to just talk for an hour about reptiles? Because you like them just as much as we do. And
that's like what. If you used to go to reptile expos back in the day, that's what it was. When you went to a reptile expo, you would like talk to people about reptiles and like, because, you don't get a chance to talk reptiles with people in your regular life all the time. No. So, get to hear people talk about reptiles and just get excited about reptiles. That's the part that really like got me interested in getting involved is getting to talk to people about the stuff that they're passionate about, because like, when I hear somebody getting, I might not be into Burmese pythons, but if I hear someone who's ginned up about their fucking Burmese python project, I can get excited too, you know, right? Like, I'm happy that they're doing what they
Right
love.
on, right on.
I dig that they're doing what they love, and that is like, that's lost today, because like, unless you're in that group and you're talking to those people, you're not going to catch any of that stuff. So I don't know, man. It's something that's missing right now, and that's why I'm glad that we're doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they say the real ones stick around, right? So no matter what, like the ones that are really down for their shit and the ones who aren't really out there chasing either clout or some sort of financial gain in a quick matter, and they're just doing it for the love, they'll be here 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years from now, you know?
Yep.
Yep.
So those are the ones you stick around with, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't follow 1,000 people, but I do know the people who are loyal to their shit, and I respect them. And, you know, I tend to try to keep my following in circles around people who are on this, people who are on the same mission as me. So that's why I always tell people, don't get offended if I don't follow you. I just don't I just haven't really seen anything that made me want to, have you. I mean, because think about it. This is shit I have to look at. I have to look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't, dude, some people's posts bother me. I'm not going to lie. Like, and it's like almost repetitive. And I don't want that kind of like I don't even want to look at it. So, and that's just kind of like why, like, if I follow you, I have some sort of relationship with you. Like, there's something that inspires me to want to look at your shit every day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I follow both of you, by the way, motherfuckers, just so you know. So, no, man, I really think it's awesome what you guys are doing, man. Like you said, you guys are bringing shit to the table that it's not so easy to get your hands on. Even with social media nowadays, there's inner circle shit, man. There's things out there that you don't fucking know unless you really have the right motherfucker spitting it.
Yep.
And that's what it comes down to, man.
Don't send me down that rabbit hole, because I'll go down that rabbit hole of anger and frustration very quickly.
Anger? Did somebody say anger?
Yeah. Are you about it? Yeah.
I'm about the anger. What are you angry about? Tell me.
No, man. It's just like I was saying, man. Like the abilities that we have now that don't get capitalized on by the people who should be capitalizing on it is astounding, and it's so fucking frustrating to me. And unfortunately, it will always be frustrating because it's never going to stop, you know. And from what I know, thanks to my involvement in music, I know a little bit more about how shit gets packaged and delivered to people. And it's done in a very, very thought out, methodical, deliberate way. Right. You know, so if you feel like you're only being shown X, you are. Yeah. And that's 100% planned, you know. And if you're not willing to go around that and find out other shit, you know, like, then that's 100% on you. You know, I was just talking to, if anybody's seen the viral video that was going on Instagram and Twitter with the pastor singing with this kid playing piano, singing about COVID, like, video blew up on Twitter. Got like over 3 million views, and I think in total between Instagram and Twitter's got over 10 million views, whatever. He and I, the pastor, I played with that pastor for 10 years at his church back in Western Mass. And we were talking, because he's not super versed in like viral social media shit. But when we were talking about like why it's gotten all this steam, I'm like, it's because it's in everybody's face. It's forced in their face. Yeah. And that's all the big companies and like all this shit. Like, why do you think, I used to tell this to my students all the time, because they're like, Beyonce is amazing. And it's like, yeah, she's great. But her entire band is also made up of dope ass musicians. And they're like, but they're not Beyonce. I'm like, yeah, you only know Beyonce because that's all Sony wants you to know. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like shit like that gets like packaged to you. And when you decide to not do the research to learn the bigger picture, that's go get fucked, dude. I'm sorry. Get fucked 6 different ways in one hole. Like, God.
Do you know who I realized that was just as sick as the person singing, and I knew this at a young age, was Michael Jackson. His band was fucking fire.
Dude.
It was a whole, it was orchestrated. So he had like, you know, it was him, right? Everyone looked at Michael, but I just remember hearing bass lines and just certain fucking like riffs in his songs that like
and get you hype.
made me love the song. Like his
Yeah.
and then his voice was good, but it was the beat. It's fucking like
Yep.
what's laid out. And if you like beat it, Thriller, everything had a solid fucking beat to it. And it was like, oh,
Yep.
Quincy Jones produced all his fucking music. And it was like, you know, Quincy Jones.
Quincy's a genius, dude. Yeah.
Oh man. So it's awesome that you bring that up because like a lot of people don't see really what's bringing this artist to light. You know what I mean? Yeah, they have a good voice, the lyrics, but what's the first thing you hear for the most part? It's some sort of
DJ Khaled.
We the best.
Yo, you know his music. That's all I'm saying. Another one.
Oh man, that's true, man.
It's true, man. It's true. You know. So yeah, man. I mean, like the reptile industry, even though it's not controlled the same way, in a way, it almost is. You know, I mean, because
100%.
we're so driven by social media now, where like if you're a ball python guy and you follow ball python guys, everything in your explore page is a ball python. You know what I mean? Like it's force fed to you because like, oh, you like this? You must not like anything else. So here's all of your ball python combos. You know.
Let's touch on this real quick because I don't even got it's my touchy ones out there, but what is it about ball python keepers strictly that just gets so much shit? Like what I mean, you see so many memes, like you know what I mean. I could pull out my phone and I won't, but they're because you know I ball python. I love my ball pythons. I'll never get rid of my ball pythons, but holy shit, like chondro communities, other like communities, especially like retic communities, like are pretty brutal, but they just back so much on ball python, keeping ball pythons. Like, dude, what is your insight on that? What's going like? I mean, you keep ball pythons, Jeremy. You keep some sick ones. I know that.
Yeah,
I keep ball pythons, but what?
Yeah, so I think I mean I think the biggest thing is everybody's got ball pythons. It's, you know, whether you're
like it's old or something, or like it's,
yeah. You know, I mean, if you think about the grand scheme of things, like think about like chondro keepers, chondros now are certainly a little bit easier to dial in. That there's so many more captive bred animals. They're a lot stronger than the original animals that were being imported and stuff. But
people start keeping it simple instead of fucking confusing themselves and
right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so ball pythons, it's everybody's got them. They're very easy to breed, you know, and it's almost like an oversaturated market, you know, just because everybody's doing it. You know, Rob and I kind of went off on a tangent about this a while ago, talking about like the business of the industry, you know, and ball pythons are like the forefront, you know, like they are still the king of the industry in that sense, because, you know, they're like the great first pet snake, you know, like all this stuff that gets shoved in your face for good reason, you know. But the thing to think about is it wasn't always that way. There was a time where ball pythons did not thrive in captivity.
True. And people fucked it up. Yeah.
And people, you know, people were fucking it up hard. You know, if it wasn't for, you know, Kev and Brian Barczyk and Tracy Barker and like maybe a couple of others that were like, there's some value here, we just haven't cracked the code, they wouldn't be king. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fact that their genetics are insane is the fact that is what keeps them relevant. Yeah. You know, if you think about I'm trying to think of like, okay, carpet pythons, right? There's not a lot of morphs of carpet pythons. So if the genetic diversity or phenotypic diversity of carpet pythons existed in ball pythons, they would not be that popular. Yeah. I can guarantee that, you know, because I'm sorry, the minute you see a fucking yellow, purple, and pink carpet python, carpets are fucking booming.
Yeah. Can they make a coral glow carpet python?
Yeah, exactly.
Carpet python.
Or a scrub.
They're freaking out. Yeah, or a scrub or something. Yeah, exactly.
That
hurt Rob's insides. Yeah. But you know, like that, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll make Rob sad. But
terrible,
like that's what keeps them relevant, you know. And I mean, you know, you see it with so many guys, and this is no shade to anybody that's breeding ball pythons and doing YouTube on ball pythons, but like all those guys are like, check out this badass looking ball python, you know, because the phenotypes are amazing compared to any other species. You you know, but because that's so popular, everything else just gets downplayed, you know. And in the same breath, nobody that's really working with any of those species is really doing any kind of social media insanity with those species, you know. So the hate can only go so far.
Yep.
I'll say that, you know, because I'm like, I'm sorry, you know, green tree people, I see some phenomenal looking green trees that like blow my mind, you know, from what we know green trees to be, you know. But you got to step up your game on your social media, on your videos and your context. I'm sorry, don't tell me all of the Google page 1 facts about green tree pythons in a 40-minute video. Like, let's hype this shit up a little bit and get other people interested. I'm not saying you want to make green trees excitable to the intro keeper at all. But those people who are all over the internet who have been keeping for, you know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, and they're like, I want to look at the next cool thing, they're still just flooded with ball pythons. And then, you know, maybe they're getting flooded with boas and retics because those would be like 2 and 3 on the morph list, you know. But like, bro, like, let's see some other cool shit, you know, make it so I don't have to dig for it.
Yeah, no, that's really good, solid points on what you're making there. But then it's also teach their own too. You know what I mean? I feel like,
100%.
I mean, if you're doing it just because like, I mean, like not giving a fuck what people's insiders are, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like there's some real diehard ball python people out there, and that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. But then there's also people out there who just fear to learn something, even though they want, like, they would like to get something else. They just refuse because either they don't have enough knowledge on it, they fear to learn the knowledge on it, or, you know, anything like that. You know, I don't know.
If it's too hard, I don't want to do it.
Right. But I mean, anything could just be as simple as keeping a ball python. I mean, it's having the structure and having, like, you know, what did we say earlier? Routine.
Yep.
Routine is key, man. And especially if you're not putting so much on your plate at first, you know, you're going to be able to get what you have in a place where you know it like the back of your hand, you know?
Exactly.
But, like, you know, I just, I do give it up to the people out there who are just fucking producing and putting ball pythons out there that just still blow people's minds, because they're still fucking, it's beyond me. Honestly, the reason why I said, fuck, man, I'm okay with the ball python thing as a career wise, because you can't beat out anybody. It's always like the competition's unfucking real. Like, you know, I mean, Kevin's fucking background on ball pythons is ridiculous. Like, he produced shit that was, unheard of. World's first up the ass. Like, Kevin is, it's crazy. A lot of people don't know this, but ball pythons is what started all for Kevin, right? In the beginning, I would say, right? Wasn't it ball python
for nerd?
For nerd, okay.
For nerd. So Kevin was keeping different species of Pituophis, like bigger colubrid species and stuff, and he had bloods and stuff. But the ball pythons, you know, he said this before. He'd said this on the Unfiltered Reptile podcast too. He didn't have the money to drop on like the black-headed pythons or the this or the that was like back then really like super expensive and really cool. He's like, I got this for a ball python. Woo! Hope it doesn't die. You know, like, because back then that's what the deal was. You know, so when they kind of cracked the code on keeping ball pythons, and then all of a sudden it was, okay, well, we can now reproduce these phenotypes. And then, you know, if anybody isn't already aware, you know, the bumblebee, when Kevin first produced the bumblebee, that was the first time we had ever seen 2 phenotypes being expressed in one animal.
Yeah.
Nobody knew that was possible. You know, when Kevin and I had taken a road trip not long after I had started, and I remember him telling me, he was like, when I brought that animal to, I think it was the Daytona show, or Orlando back then, Pete Call, who, if you don't know who Pete Call is, proved out pieds, you know, I mean, Pete Call was like grabbing people and running them over to Kevin and being like, show them what's in the bag, show them that fucking thing, you know. And like, these were all people who Kevin was like, oh my God, you have so many cool animals, you know, that all of a sudden the tables had turned really fast. So that's what really like made people gain any kind of interest in ball pythons at all, you know. To fast forward, you know, to where, you know, we're like, okay, well, you can do it with 2 genes. Can you do it with more? you know, and now here we are where we're seeing people, you know, and ourselves here doing 7, 8, 9 genes or more, and we just don't know in ball pythons, and that's ridiculous, you know. It's crazy, you know, and talking about like world's firsts, like if you look at World of Ball Pythons, because ball python breeders apparently live off that site, you know, Kevin stopped recording world's firsts with them, I think back in 2014 or 2015, because I think right around that time might have been when their servers had crashed because they were getting overloaded and inundated. So he was like, well, you guys can't keep up with me, so get fucked. You know, like I got other shit to do than wait for your email saying that you got my photos.
You guys no longer get to know what I'm making. Bye.
Literally though. So I mean, if you think about that, I mean, last year alone, we probably did at least 100 with least, like all the odium combos and shit.
100 new things that have never been seen before.
Yeah. At least, you know, and that's just 2019. So if you think if he stopped in 2014, we're in 2020, you know, we're going into a whole new season.
Yeah.
So that's like, you know, dude, shit's gonna go down in some serious history books. Like, cause it's like, think about it, as long as you know, fingers crossed, laws fucking don't kill us or whatever. But if we fucking are able to continue this years down, like God knows, man, like this shit's gonna be like so legendary. I mean, it already is legendary, but like,
yeah,
I mean,
the story's gonna keep growing.
Think about the potential, like where this story could lead, and where you know, it's gonna be never ending, basically.
Yeah, and I think one of the coolest parts, and not just for ball pythons, but any species of snake that has any sort of phenotypic diversity, people will always like something a little bit different. Yeah. So it's not like there's 50 people breeding odium combos.
Yeah.
You know, like like I was saying earlier, like Kevin's attention to the subtle details has been one of those things that has set him apart consistently. You know, so like people have I've gotten messages from people, they've been like, why doesn't Kevin have these? Or why don't you guys have any of these on your website? And it's like, because it hasn't been of any interest. Yeah. And they're like, well, what do you mean? It makes this awesome thing. And I'm like, well, we got 150 other awesome things that have nothing to do with anything anybody else is doing. So not to say get fucked again, but get fucked. So
you're not telling you to get fucked, but yeah, get fucked.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, but that's one of the coolest parts about it, is the fact that, you know, not everybody has to do the same thing. You know, you can see all the people who follow specific breeders, you know, because they're like, I really like this project. I really like this project. And like, you know, I'll use Justin Kobelka as a great example because he produces some amazing ball pythons. But like the Batman ball python, leopard spot nose clown thing, you know, all the people who are diehard Justin fans because they got in on that project and they're like, I want to do crazy cool things. And that's awesome. You know, and the same thing can be said about us, you know, with fader combos and like all these other really different combos where, you know, we've had people reach out to us and be like, hey, so I got this animal from you guys like 2.5, 3 years ago and finally bred it. And these are my results. And that's some of the coolest shit though, when it comes in. Yeah. It gets a little annoying when they're like, tell me what's in it. But, you know, like,
you're like, no, you've had that since 3 years. Figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but to see where other people's mindset is to go in a certain direction with a project, that's awesome. You know, because again, you'll never know it all. You'll never see it all. And I was talking on one of my Instagram lives last week or the week before, and I was like, you know, what's interesting with ball pythons in particular is you've never seen anybody go for anything polygenic in ball pythons because the Mendelian genetics have been right there. You know, pastel to normal, you get pastels. Cool. You know, and I think the financial gain has certainly played a huge part in that. Why would I spend 6 or 7 generations producing this animal that's going to look a little bit different when, you know, I could make, you know, cool shit and money potentially right off the rip, which I think is kind of a downfall, because if you think about ball pythons, even just normals, there's no such thing as just a normal ball python. Their natural variety is crazy, you know. So you could take a ball python that's a really blushed out ball python and, you know, generationally breed that and line breed that, and all of a sudden you can produce some really cool looking shit.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
But nobody's ever really gone down that avenue, you know. And it's like, well, if you did, what could you do if you bred a super blushed out ball python to like a cinnamon pastel or something that's also already really blushed out, you know, genetically? that doesn't involve any line breeding. So what could you do with that? Nobody really knows. So that's a whole other avenue that might get explored at some point, might not. But again, it's just the possibilities are endless.
It's so true what you're saying, dude. I mean, it's pretty looked out right now, man. I'm not gonna lie. The market's it's competitive, but like there's so much shit out there that you could literally get your hands on that could really set you up for the future if you know what the fuck you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And like endless, like I don't know, like I said, I kind of stopped getting so geeked out over it because it just gave me a headache, and I'm just like, fuck, like I can throw the towel in, dude. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking always pythons. I'm not fucking JP Canada, whatever fucking
Canada. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those guys are just they have it to where they know what they're doing, and like not that I don't know what I'm doing. I just rather I'm geeking out over conjos and emeralds and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's where I'd rather put my headspace at and keep the shit I have, and fucking whatever I breed and have fun with it. That's what I do, basically, man. Look, guys, it's been fucking 2 hours. You guys are solid, man. It's been an amazing time. I know you guys had some people up here that follow you up in the comments and whatnot. So your support's huge, man. All I got to say is that I fucking really love what you guys are bringing to the table. Excited to hear what you guys have planned as far as the movement with your podcast. Just the excitement I hear from you guys working at Nerd, and you guys been there for a while, and you guys aren't flat about it. You guys are still stoked as fuck to be where you're at. And that's true passion, man. I mean, I feel like you guys are in a good place. I just, I hope you guys go fucking super far with your goals. Definitely gonna be following you, Rob, with your scrub fucking, projects, because
we shall see.
Super dreamy shit, man. And I appreciate you sitting in on this too, Rob. You're the man, bro. This is really, really, really awesome. Jeremy?
Yeah, dude.
You've been amazing. Now, real quick, Jeremy, before I let you go, I didn't get to ask you real quick. What's your breeding projects looking like this year? I know you had a carpet not too long ago, right?
Yeah. So my season this year has kind of actually been trash, only because of my move to New Hampshire. So when I took the job, I had a move involved. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. I had some carpet stuff going that my carpet season was inundated with slugs. Which is certainly a bummer. And then I've got a clutch of ball pythons in the incubator now, and have another one on the way soon. But that's going to be actually about it for me this year. So I had some ocelot jungle stuff hatch out. I got like a low expression ocelot zebra, and then like really odd stripy ocelot, just non-jag ocelot or anything, but really interesting animal. And that's pretty much it for me this season, which is kind of a bummer because I had quite a few things that were ready to breed. But when I moved into a place, I had my reptile room in one place for a few months, had it dialed in, and then had to move it again to another room, and getting that dialed in was a little trickier. And that was all like happening in the middle of the breeding season. So it's kind of like I get what I get. Which happens, you take the good with the bad, but I'm excited because the next breeding season I'll have jungles, centralians, bloods, short tails, ball pythons, maybe some Amazon tree boas, some colubrids, a little smattering of everything because I can't be cool like Rob and only do 3 things. So,
I'll tell you right now, Jeremy, the beauty about what we do, man, if it's not this year, it's going to be next year. Next year comes really quick. So
true. That is very true.
It's fucking
especially also being like here, because it never ends here. The cycle always continues. So even when I'm not hatching cool shit, I'm hatching cool shit right there. Yeah. So it's never a bad year when you're here.
Yeah, you're always moving, and that's what's up. Hey, real quick, dude, I have my buddy O'Malley's Morph. He's really in the short tail game, and I know he's been bugging me to ask this question, Rob. So the Marble to Marble project.
Yes.
With Grumpy Dan. I don't know who the fuck Grumpy Dan is.
Dan Magano.
Oh yeah, Dan Magano. I talked to him on. Yeah, he's a character, dude. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that project? What's can you give us a little insight?
So Matt Minatola has done a lot of stuff with the Marble project with Borneo short-tailed pythons, and he just hatched out some extreme marbles, which are like these crazy speckled.
Yeah,
You know, if you
ridiculous.
haven't seen him, go look at Philly Herp and check out his fucking the clutch he just hatched out. But this season, I paired up my marble, who's like super, super nice, to Dan Magano's male marble. And, oh, crap. The eggs are next Saturday is when they're supposed to hatch. So not, what day is today? Today's Thursday. So not this Saturday.
But the Saturday after.
But the Saturday after is day 60 on that marble to marble clutch. So I could produce some extreme marbles. I'm not sure. I'm hoping, but I've kind of not been. I didn't want to jinx my season, so I didn't post pictures when the females laid eggs. I didn't post anything really about them until
I feel that
until just now. So like I said, I just had a different clutch of Borneos hatch out. Next Saturday will be the marble to marble. And then a couple days after that will be marble to granite, which hasn't been done in a long time, to my knowledge. So I don't know what's going to come out of that. I have no idea. So I'm really eagerly waiting for those clutches to hatch out to see what comes out.
Damn. Well, there you guys have it. There's that info on that fucking.
This is the only place it's going to be because I'm not posting it on my Instagram or anywhere. So if people see it here, that's cool, but I'm not talking about it anywhere else until it happens. So.
Well, fuck yeah. Well, I appreciate you giving us what we just got, you know.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys are fucking awesome, man. Jeremy and Rob, big fucking forces to be reckoned in the reptile hobby. I'm a huge fan. You guys are stoked. You guys are really awesome to be a part of this reptile show or reptile podcast tonight. And yeah, man, I'm gonna fucking make my way over to the nerd fucking facility and hang out with you guys hopefully and
hell yeah, dude.
See what it's like because I'm telling you,
get a Bolin's python in your hands.
Oh, dude, I'll take a bite from a Bolin's, even though I don't want to press it out.
Ours are all fucking friendly.
Yeah, ours are great. Yeah.
The one that bit me was at a different place.
Bolin's is something that I've yet to interact with the Bolin's, man. That's something I need to do. That's for sure, because that's a whole other level of godly to me is a Bolin's python. But we'll get there day by day.
I'll just say scrubs are cooler, but it's
shit, dude. All right, man. You guys are awesome, dude. Have a good night. I'm gonna put all your information description below. Make sure you guys check them out. And listen to what they got to bring to the table, man. It's very unique. All right, guys. We'll check you later, dude.
All right. Thank you, MJ.
So sick, the homies. That was really, really special, man. Shout out to Rob and Jeremy. Shout out to Jeremy first off for being a part of the podcast and being here for us tonight and bringing on Rob. It's really cool to see two people right there, on the same mission and just really killing it out there for us, man. I'm not the only one bringing heat to the table, believe it or not. But yeah, they're really good peeps, man. So good stuff, man. Tonight, this week's going to be really awesome, though. I'm going to be doing a back-to-back. So I have a guest I'm bringing on Saturday. It's going to be a morning session. So all my early birds, you guys might want to chime in on this. It's going to be dope. 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Saturday. We got an international guest from the UK that we're bringing on. And I'm looking forward to bringing this guy on, man. It's somebody I've been following for a minute. But yeah, make sure you guys tune in for that. If you guys were new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, all that good stuff. And then also don't forget Unfiltered Reptiles podcast. We are finally going to be dropping an episode this weekend and get the ball moving on that again. So appreciate all the supporters on that. Yeah, man, make sure you guys are still hitting me up if you want to send any stickers or any shirts for me to promo you guys on the channel. I'm totally cool with that. But you guys have a wonderful night. Be safe. Everybody love everybody, and I'll catch you guys later, man. Peace.